My name is Kemal Yilmaz, and today I'm going to tell you the story of my entire life because I don't have much time left. The doctors told me I have cancer, stage 4, only 1 month left, maybe even less than that. I've lived 85 years. I've committed every kind of sin. I've spilled blood, I've killed people, I've lost my family, and now, when death is near, I finally understand that all of it was meaningless. This story is for you, for those who think there's something in the gang life. Money, power, respect, it's all lies. There's only death, only destruction, and when everything ends, you're left with nothing in your hands. Let me start from the beginning, from where my story truly began. 1951, Ankara. I was 12 years old. My father, Kemal Yilmaz, was a factory worker, an honest man, never did wrong to anyone. We had a small house in Altındag district. We were poor, but we were happy. One day there was a bus accident, and just like that my father was gone. My mother, Aze, collapsed that day. I remember her screaming, tearing at her clothes, falling to the ground. My 2 younger brothers, Mehmet and Ali, they were only 8 and 6. They didn't understand what had happened. But I understood. I was the oldest. And suddenly all the responsibility fell on my shoulders. A 12-year-old boy, responsible for feeding his mother and 2 brothers. Those first months were hell. My mother couldn't work. She was broken. She would just sit in the corner all day, staring at nothing, tears rolling down her face. The rent was due. We had no food. My brothers were crying from hunger. I started doing small jobs, cleaning shoes on the streets of Ankara, carrying bags at Ulu's market, delivering newspapers, but it wasn't enough. It was never enough. That's when I discovered boxing. There was a small gym in our neighborhood, Goon's Boxing Club. I used to walk past it every day. Through the dirty windows I could see men training, hitting bags, sparring with each other. The sound of fists hitting leather, the grunts, the sweat. Something about it called to me. One day the owner, Coach Orhan, saw me watching. He was a big man, maybe 50 years old, with hands like rocks and a face that had taken too many punches. He called me inside, asked me my name. I told him. He looked at my torn clothes, my thin arms, my hungry face, and he said something I'll never forget. "You have angry eyes, boy. Good. Anger is fuel. Let me teach you how to use it." He trained me for free. Every day after my jobs I would go to that gym. At first I was weak. Other boys would laugh at me, but I didn't care. Every punch I threw, I imagined my father's face. Every time I got knocked down, I got back up thinking about my hungry brothers. Within 6 months, I was different. My body changed, my arms got stronger, my reflexes got sharper, but more than that, something inside me changed. That scared 12-year-old boy was dying. Something harder was being born. Coach Orhan entered me in my first amateur match when I was 13. It was at a small venue in Mamuk district. The other boy was 15, bigger than me, more experienced. Everyone thought I would lose. I knocked him out in the second round. The crowd went crazy. I remember standing there, my hand raised, blood on my knuckles, and for the first time since my father died, I felt powerful. I felt like I was someone. Over the next 2 years, I won 23 matches. I became known in the Ankara boxing circuit. The Altındag Wolf, they called me. People started betting on my fights. I was bringing home money. Not much, but enough to feed my family. My mother started smiling again. My brothers looked up to me like I was a hero. For a moment I thought, maybe life could be good again. But life had other plans. 1954, I was 15 years old. The Boxing Federation announced a regional championship in Istanbul. The prize money was huge, enough to change our lives. Coach Orhan said I was ready. He said I could win it all. But there was a problem. The registration fee, the travel costs, the equipment. We needed 500 lira. We had nothing. I tried everything. I borrowed from neighbors. I begged at mosques. I worked triple shifts, but I could only gather 200 lira. Time was running out. 2 days before the registration deadline, I was walking through Ulus, defeated, broken. That's when I saw him. A man in an expensive suit getting out of a black Mercedes. Gold watch, leather shoes, confidence in every step. He dropped his wallet. Without thinking, I picked it up and ran after him. "Sir, your wallet." He turned, surprised, looked at me like I was some kind of strange creature. In those days, if a street kid found a wallet, he kept it. Everyone knew that, but I handed it back to him. He opened it, counted the money inside. Everything was there. He looked at me with different eyes. "What's your name, boy?" "Kemal Yilmaz." "Why didn't you keep it?" I didn't know what to say, so I just told him the truth. My father taught me to be honest. Even after he died, I can't forget that. The man smiled, not a friendly smile. Something else, something calculating. "You need money, don't you? I can see it in your eyes." I nodded. He pulled out 500 lira just like that. More money than I'd ever seen. "Take it and come see me after your championship. I have a feeling you're going to win, and when you do, I have a job for you." His name was Davut Kaya, and taking that money was the biggest mistake of my life. But I didn't know that then. All I knew was that I could compete. I could change my family's life. The championship in Istanbul was everything I dreamed of. Beyoğlu Sports Arena, hundreds of people, professional referees, real boxing ring with bright lights. I won my first fight, then my second, then my third. In the finals, I faced a boy from Izmir. His name was Yusuf Demir. He was 18, had won 47 matches, lost only 3. Everyone said he was going to the Olympics. The fight lasted 7 rounds. He broke my nose in the 4th. I cracked his ribs in the 6th. In the 7th round, both of us could barely stand. But I remembered my brothers' faces. I remembered my mother's tears. I remembered my father. I knocked him out with 30 seconds left in the match. I won. The crowd erupted. Coach Orhan lifted me on his shoulders. I was the champion. 15 years old in Istanbul, regional boxing champion. The prize money was 2,000 lira, more money than my father had made in 2 years. I went back to Ankara a hero. My neighborhood celebrated for 3 days. My mother cried tears of joy. My brothers told everyone their big brother was going to be a world champion. For 1 month, life was perfect. Then Davut Kaya came to collect. He showed up at my house one evening. Same expensive suit, same cold smile. He congratulated me on my victory, gave my mother flowers, gave my brothers sweets, acted like a family friend. Then he asked me to take a walk with him. We went to a tea house in Ulus. He ordered tea and Boric, talked about boxing, about my future, about my dreams. Then he got to the point. "Kemal, you're special. I saw it the first time I met you. You have something most men don't have. You have hunger, real hunger, not just for food or money. Hunger for respect, for power. Am I right?" I didn't answer, but he knew he was right. I own several businesses in Ankara. Restaurants, shops, construction companies. But my main business, let's say it requires men who can handle themselves, men who aren't afraid, men who can fight. "What kind of business?" He smiled. "Protection, import-export, problem-solving, and I think you'd be very good at it." I should have walked away. I should have said no, but I thought about the 500 lira he gave me. I thought about how one conversation with him had given me more than months of street work. "What do you need me to do?" "For now, nothing. Just keep boxing, keep winning, build your reputation, and when I call you, you come. That's all," I agreed. That was 1954. I was 15 years old, and I had just sold my soul without even knowing it. For the next year, life continued normally. I kept boxing, won more matches, my reputation grew, people in Ankara knew my name. But inside, something was changing. The innocent boy who returned his wallet was dying. Every time I stepped in the ring, I wasn't just fighting to win. I was fighting to hurt, to dominate, to make my opponent fear me. Coach Orhan noticed. Kemal, you're getting too aggressive. Boxing is about skill, about strategy. You're fighting like a street thug. But I didn't listen, because the truth was, I liked it. I liked the fear in their eyes. I liked the power I felt when my fist connected with their face. 1955, I turned 16. Davut Kaya called me for the first time. There's a man in Mamuk. He owes me money, a lot of money. He's refusing to pay. I need you to convince him. How? However you need to. That night I went to Mamuk with two of Davut's men. The man's name was Hussein. He ran a small bakery. He was maybe 40 years old with a wife and 3 kids. We went to his shop after closing, knocked on the door. He opened it, saw us, and I could see the fear flash across his face. Hussein Bey, Davut Kaya sent us about the money you owe. I don't have it yet. Please, just 2 more weeks. I'll have it, I promise. One of Davut's men grabbed him by the collar, slammed him against the wall. That's what you said 2 weeks ago. They beat him right there in his bakery, punched him, kicked him while he was down. His wife came running, screaming, trying to stop them, and I just stood there, watching, doing nothing. When they were done, Hussein was on the floor, blood coming from his mouth, his eyes swollen shut. One of the men looked at me. Your turn, boxing champion. Show us what you got. I should have said no. I should have walked away. But I thought about the money, about my family, about the power I felt in the ring. I kicked him once in the ribs. The sound he made, I can still hear it. 69 years later, I can still hear that sound. We left him there, bleeding on the floor of his own bakery, his wife crying, his children hiding in the back room. On the way back, I threw up in an alley, but I didn't quit. I took the money Davut gave me, and I came back when he called again. Over the next 2 years, I did more jobs for Davut, collections, intimidations, beatings. Each one got a little easier. Each one killed a little more of who I used to be. But the money was good. My family had food. My brothers went to better schools. My mother had medicine when she got sick. I told myself I was doing it for 'em. The truth was, I was doing it for myself, because I liked the respect. I liked walking into a room and seeing people afraid. I liked the power. 1957, I was 18 years old. That's when my boxing career ended. There was a national championship in Izmir. All the best fighters in Turkey. I had won the regionals again. Coach Orhan said this was my chance to go professional, maybe even represent Turkey internationally. But 3 days before the championship, Davut called me. I need you tomorrow night. Big job. Can't wait. I have the championship in 2 days. I need to travel to Izmir tomorrow morning. Kemal, this is important. I've given you everything. Don't disappoint me now. I had a choice. My dream or my debt, my future or my fear. I chose wrong. I did the job. Another beating. Another broken man. Another night I couldn't sleep. I missed my travel to Izmir. I missed the championship. My spot went to someone else. Coach Orhan came to my house the next day. He looked at me with such disappointment. I know what you're doing, Kemal. I know who you're working for. I thought you were different. I thought you wanted something better. Coach, I can explain. No, you made your choice. Don't come back to the gym. You're not a boxer anymore. You're just another thug. He left. I never saw him again. Years later, I heard he died of a heart attack. I didn't go to his funeral. I was too ashamed. That was the end of my boxing career, the end of my dream, the end of the last good thing in my life. After that, I went all in with Davut. If I couldn't be a champion, I'd be something else. Something feared. 1958. Davut promoted me. I wasn't just muscle anymore. I was becoming an enforcer, a problem solver. I had my own small crew, 3 guys who followed my orders. We handled the rough work, the jobs that needed violence, the jobs that couldn't be traced back to Davut. That's when I started carrying a gun, a Kirikale pistol, small, easy to hide. I remember the first time I held it, the weight of it, the cold metal, the power it represented. Davut taught me how to use it, took me to an abandoned factory outside Ankara for target practice. This is a tool, Kemal, like your fists, but more permanent. Use it only when necessary, never in anger, always in control. I practiced every week, became a good shot, but I told myself I'd never actually use it, that it was just for show, for intimidation. That lasted 3 months. There was a rival operation in Ankara, run by a man named Kemal Yilmaz. He controlled most of the gambling and prostitution in Kizilay district. Davut wanted that territory. They tried to negotiate, failed. Both sides were too proud, too stubborn. It turned into a war, small at first, intimidation, property damage, beatings, but it escalated quickly. One of Davut's clubs was firebombed. 2 people died. One of them was a woman I knew. Her name was Layla. She worked as a singer at the club. Beautiful voice, kind eyes. She was 23 years old. I found out it was Iskender's men. 3 of them. They had laughed about it, said they wished more people had died. Davut called me to his office. I want them dead, all 3, tomorrow night. This was different. This wasn't beating. This wasn't intimidation. This was murder. Davut, I know, but it's time. They killed our people. If we don't respond, we look weak. And if we look weak, we're dead. He gave me 2 choices, do it or leave. And if I left, I was an enemy. I took 2 men with me. We found the first guy at a bar in Maltepe, drunk, bragging about the fire. We followed him to his car. I shot him 3 times in the chest. I remember everything about that moment. The sound of the gun, the smell of gunpowder, the way he looked at me, surprised, like he couldn't believe this was happening. He fell, blood spreading across his shirt, his mouth moving but no sound coming out, then nothing, just empty eyes staring at the sky. I threw up again that night, but I didn't stop. We found the second guy 2 days later, the third one a week after that. I killed them both, quick, clean, professional. And that's when I knew I wasn't playing at being a gangster anymore. I had become one. 1959 to 1963 were the bloody years. The war with Iskender lasted 3 years. Over 40 people died, maybe more. I stopped counting after a while. I killed 12 men myself during that war. Some I shot, some I stabbed. One I beat to death with my bare hands. Each one got easier. Each one mattered less. My family didn't know. My mother thought I was working in construction. My brothers thought I was a businessman. I gave them money, bought them things, and they never asked questions. But inside I was dying. Every night I closed my eyes, I saw faces. Hussein in his bakery, Layla burning in the club. The men I killed, their eyes, always their eyes. I started drinking, heavily. It was the only way I could sleep. That's when I met Elif. She worked at a restaurant in Ulus, a simple place, nothing fancy. I used to go there sometimes, usually alone, usually drunk. She was different from the other women I knew. No makeup, no pretense, just honest eyes and a genuine smile. One night I was particularly drunk, particularly haunted. She sat down across from me. You come here a lot? Always alone, always sad. What's your name? Kemal. What do you do, Kemal? I work in import-export. She laughed, not mocking, just amused. That's what all you gangsters say. Import-export. I looked up, shocked. She just smiled. I grew up in these streets. I know a gangman when I see one, but you're different from the others. They come in here proud, arrogant. You come in here looking like you want to disappear. We talked that night for hours. I don't know why, but I told her things, not everything, but enough. About my father, about boxing, about feeling trapped. She listened. Didn't judge, just listened. You know what I think? She said. I think you're a good man who made bad choices, but it's not too late, it's never too late to change. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. We started meeting regularly. She became my light in the darkness, the only person who saw me as human. 6 months later, I asked her to marry me. She said yes. It was 1963. I was 24 years old, and for the first time in years, I thought maybe I could have a normal life. I was wrong. The war with Iskender ended in 1963, not because of peace, because Iskender was killed, shot in his own home. Some say it was an inside job. Some say it was Davut's men. I know the truth. It was me. Davut sent me, alone, told me to make it look like a robbery. I broke into his house at 2 a.m. He was in his bedroom, sleeping next to his wife. I put the gun to his head. He woke up, saw me. For a moment we just looked at each other. He didn't beg, didn't plead, just nodded, like he understood, like he knew this was how it would end. I pulled the trigger. His wife screamed. I ran, left her there with his body, left her to find him with his brains on the pillow. I went home and married Elif 3 weeks later. She wore a simple white dress. We had a small ceremony at a mosque in Altindag. My mother cried happy tears. My brothers were my witnesses. Elif's family was there, simple people, good people. I stood there pretending to be a normal man, pretending I hadn't just killed a man in his sleep, pretending I deserved this happiness. We moved into a small apartment in Kankaya, not too big, not too small. She made it a home, flowers in the windows, home-cooked meals, laughter. For 6 months I tried to be normal. I still worked for Davut, but I tried to do less violent jobs. Collections mostly. Negotiations. I tried to use my reputation instead of my gun. And it almost worked. 1964. Elif got pregnant. I remember the day she told me. I came home and she was crying. Happy tears. She took my hand and put it on her stomach. We're going to have a baby. I broke down, right there, fell to my knees and cried like a child. All the death, all the violence, all the sin, and now, life. Something pure, something innocent. Our first son, Mehmet, was born in January 1965, named after my younger brother. He was perfect. Tiny hands, tiny feet. He would grip my finger, and I would feel like the biggest man in the world. I promised him, even though he couldn't understand, I'll protect you, I'll give you everything. You'll never know the life I lived. Our second son, Shem, was born in 1967, and our daughter, Aylin, in 1969. 3 children, a beautiful wife, a decent apartment. From the outside, we looked like a normal family. But I was still a gangster, still working for Davut, still carrying a gun, still doing things I couldn't tell my wife about. The difference was, now I had something to lose, and that made me more dangerous than ever. 1966. That's when I learned the truth about my father. It was a regular collection job, a factory in Sinkin district. The owner owed money. I went with 2 men. The factory made textiles, about 200 workers. The owner was a man named Rahmi Aksoy. Fat, sweaty, nervous man. He took us to his office, started making excuses, said business was bad, said he needed more time. I wasn't listening. I was looking at a photo on his wall, a group photo from 1950. Factory workers standing together, smiling, and there in the back row, my father. I stood up, walked closer to the photo. It was definitely him. Younger, thinner, but definitely him. Where was this taken? Rami looked confused. Here, this factory, 1950. Why, my father is in this photo. His face went pale. Who was your father? Hasan Yilmaz? Rami sat down heavily, put his face in his hands. Oh God, no. One of my men pulled his gun. What's going on? I held up my hand, stopped him. Tell me, now. Rami looked up at me, fear in his eyes, but also guilt, deep old guilt. The accident. It wasn't an accident. The bus brakes. We knew they were faulty. I knew they were faulty, but fixing them would cost money. I told the driver to use it anyway. I thought it would be fine. Everything stopped. The world stopped spinning. Your father, he was on that bus. So were 3 other workers. They all died because I was cheap, because I wanted to save money. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All these years, all this suffering, my mother's tears, my hunger, my descent into this life, all because of this man's greed. My men looked at me, waiting for orders. Rami saw death in my eyes. He started begging, Please, I have a family. I have children. I'll pay everything I owe. I'll pay double, please. I pulled out my gun. You killed my father. You destroyed my family. You turned me into this. I shot him once in the chest. He fell back in his chair, blood spreading across his white shirt. But one shot wasn't enough. All the rage, all the pain, all the years of suffering. I emptied the entire clip into him. 7 more bullets. His body jerked with each shot. Blood everywhere on the walls, on the desk, on that photo of my father. When the gun clicked empty, I was screaming, tears running down my face. My men had to pull me away. We left him there, dead in his office, in his own blood. I went home that night and held my children, kissed Elif, acted normal, but inside something had broken. The last piece of my humanity was gone. After killing Rahmi, something changed in me. I became colder, harder, more ruthless. Davut noticed. He started giving me bigger jobs, more responsibility. By 1968, I was running my own crew, 15 men who answered to me. We controlled protection rackets in 3 districts, restaurants, shops, clubs. They paid us monthly. If they didn't, we made examples. I was making real money now, thousands of lira every month. I bought a bigger house in Gazi Osman Pasa, a nice car, expensive clothes for Elif and the kids. From the outside, we looked rich, successful. Nobody knew the house was bought with blood money. My crew respected me, feared me. I had a reputation. Kemal the Wolf, the man who showed no mercy, the man who would kill you and sleep soundly that night. But they were wrong about the sleep part. Every night faces, every night screams, every night I would wake up sweating, reaching for my gun. Elif knew something was wrong. She would hold me, ask me what haunted me. I would lie, tell her it was just stress from work. But mothers know. One night she confronted me. Kemal, what do you really do? And don't lie to me, and I'm not stupid. I wanted to tell her everything, wanted to confess, wanted to cry and beg for forgiveness, but instead I got angry. I provide for this family. I put food on the table. That's all you need to know. She didn't push, but I saw the fear in her eyes, and I hated myself for putting it there. 1970, the Istanbul move. Davut was expanding. He wanted to establish operations in Istanbul. Bigger city, more money, more opportunities, but also more competition. He asked me to move there to set up a crew to establish our presence. Kemal, you're my best man. You're the only one I trust with this. Take your family. I'll set you up. Good house, good money. This is your chance to run your own operation. Istanbul, the big city, more opportunities for my kids, better schools, better life. Elif was excited. A new start. She didn't know what I really was, but she knew we needed distance from Ankara, from whatever was haunting me. We moved in April 1970, a house in Besiktas, near the Bosphorus. Beautiful area. Mehmet was 5, Cem was 3, Aylin was 1. I told Elif I was opening a restaurant supply business. She believed me or pretended to. The truth was I was building a criminal empire. Istanbul was different from Ankara, bigger, faster, more dangerous. There were established gangs everywhere, Turkish mafia, Kurdish groups, even some international players. We started small, protection in Beyoğlu, a few gambling dens in Sicily, some smuggling through the ports, but we grew fast. My reputation from Ankara helped. Kemal the Wolf from Ankara, the man who killed Iskender, the man who showed no fear. Within a year, we controlled significant territory. Within 2 years, we were one of the major players. Money poured in. I bought businesses to launder it, restaurants, construction companies, import-export firms, all legitimate on paper, all funded by crime underneath. My kids went to the best schools, wore the best clothes, had everything they wanted. Mehmet was smart, loved books, wanted to be a doctor. Cem was artistic, loved to draw, wanted to be a painter. Aylin was still young, but already showing she was strong-willed, stubborn like me. I loved them more than life itself, and I was terrified that my world would touch theirs. 1972. That's when the violence really started. There was a gang in Taksim, run by 3 brothers, the Demir brothers. They didn't like us moving in on their territory, didn't like that we were getting bigger. They sent a message, killed one of my men, left his body in front of one of our clubs. I had to respond. In this world, weakness is death. We hit them back, hard, firebombed one of their gambling houses. 3 of their men died. They hit us again. We hit them again. Back and forth, escalating. Then they made a mistake. They came after me personally. I was driving home one night, late, dark. A car pulled up beside me, windows down. I saw the guns. I hit the brakes hard. Their bullets shattered my windshield but missed me. I pulled my gun, fired back, hit the driver. Their car crashed into a building. 2 of them were killed in the crash. The 3rd one survived but was paralyzed. That should have been the end, but I was angry. They had tried to kill me. They had almost made my children fatherless. I went to war, full war. Over the next 3 months, I personally killed 2 of the Demir brothers. The 3rd one fled Istanbul, ran all the way to Germany. But the violence didn't stop, because in creating a power vacuum, I invited new enemies. That's also when I saved the boy. His name was Yusuf. He was 15 years old, not involved in any gang, just a kid from a poor family in Tarlabaşı. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was a territorial dispute in Tarlabaşı. A rival gang, the Korkmaz crew, controlled that area. They sold drugs, ran prostitution rings, vicious people. Yusuf witnessed them kill someone, a dealer who had stolen from them. They shot him in an alley. Yusuf was walking home from school, turned the corner, saw everything. The Korkmaz crew couldn't leave witnesses. They grabbed Yusuf, took him to a warehouse. I didn't know the boy, didn't know his family, but one of my men heard about it, told me they were going to kill a kid who wasn't even involved. I don't know why it mattered to me. Maybe I saw myself at that age. Maybe I was tired of seeing innocent people suffer. I took 6 of my best men. We went to that warehouse. There were 8 of them. They had Yusuf tied to a chair, beaten, bleeding, crying. We burst in, guns drawn. They reached for their weapons. Bad choice. We killed all 8 of them. Bullets flying everywhere, chaos, violence, blood. When the smoke cleared, all 8 were dead. We had 1 man injured, but we were alive. I untied Yusuf. He was shaking, in shock, couldn't speak. I carried him out of there, took him to a doctor we trusted, got him patched up. Then I took him home. His mother was frantic, crying. She hugged him like she'd never let go. She tried to thank me. I wouldn't let her. I just told Yusuf one thing. Forget what you saw tonight, all of it. Live your life, go to school, be good, don't ever get involved in this world. Promise me." He promised. I left. Didn't think I'd ever see him again. But to get to him, to save him, I had to kill 8 men, 8 more ghosts, to haunt my dreams. The Korkmaz crew retaliated. They came after me, after my men, after my businesses. So I killed more of them, and they killed more of mine. Back and forth, an endless cycle of violence. By the end of that war, 67 people were dead. 67. Some were gang members, some were innocent. A shopkeeper caught in crossfire, a woman in the wrong apartment, a taxi driver who saw too much. 67 lives ended because I saved one boy. Was it worth it? I don't know. I saved Yusuf, but I created so much death. 1975 began, and with it came a new kind of hell. It was a cold January morning, snow falling heavy over Istanbul. In our house in Besiktas, Elif was making breakfast. Mehmet was 10 now, getting ready for school. Kem was 8, Aylin was 6. A normal family morning, a normal lie. The doorbell rang. Early. It wasn't even 7 a.m. yet. I opened the door. A young man stood there, maybe 25 years old, cheap suit, nervous hands, angry eyes. "Kemal Yilmaz, who's asking?" He looked at me, and in his eyes I saw something that made my blood freeze. Recognition, hatred, deep, old hatred. "My name is Murat Aksoy." The name hit me like a bullet. Aksoy. Rami Aksoy was my father. You murdered him in 1966, shot him 8 times in his own office. My hand moved instinctively toward my gun, but I stopped. Elif was in the kitchen. My children were eating breakfast. This was my home. "You have the wrong person." "No." His voice shook, not from fear, from rage barely controlled. "I was 16 when you killed him. I've spent 9 years looking for you. 9 years. I know everything about you, Kemal. Your crew, your businesses, your family." That last word, family, the way he said it. "If you know what I am, then you know coming here was a mistake." Maybe, but I needed to see your face. I needed you to know. This isn't over. You took my father. You destroyed my family. My mother died of grief 3 years ago. My sister killed herself last year, all because of you. He pulled out a folded paper from his pocket, threw it at my feet. "That's a copy of my father's autopsy. 8 bullets. You didn't just kill him, you butchered him like an animal." I said nothing. What could I say? He was right. "I'm not stupid enough to try to kill you here, not now, but I wanted you to know I'm going to take everything from you, just like you took everything from me, your businesses, your reputation, your family, everything." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and Kemal, I'm not alone. There are others. Sons, brothers, fathers, all the people you've destroyed over the years. We found each other, and we're coming for you." He walked away into the snow, disappeared around the corner. I stood there frozen, not from cold, from something worse. Fear, real fear, not for myself, for my family. I picked up the paper, the autopsy report, 8 entry wounds, cause of death, massive hemorrhaging and organ failure. Behind me I heard small footsteps. "Baba, who was that man?" "Mehmet." My oldest son, standing in the hallway, looking at me with curious eyes. "Nobody, Oglum, just someone lost. Go finish your breakfast." He went back to the kitchen, but I saw something in his face. He didn't believe me. He was getting older, smarter, starting to notice things. That night, after everyone was asleep, I called my lieutenant, a man named Selim, dangerous, loyal, ruthless. He'd been with me since Ankara. "We have a problem." I told him about Murat Aksoy, about his threats, about the others. Selim was quiet for a moment. Boss, I've been hearing things, rumors. There's some kind of group forming. They're calling themselves HESAP, the Reckoning, sons and relatives of people killed in gang wars. They're organizing, training, planning something big. How many? I don't know, 20, 30, maybe more. They're smart, staying off the radar, no criminal records. They look like normal citizens. This was different. This wasn't rival gangs fighting for territory. This was revenge. Personal, focused, dangerous. Find out everything. Names, locations, plans. I want to know who they are before they make a move. Boss, there's something else. The Korkmaz crew. After what we did to them in '72, they never really recovered. But they've been rebuilding. New leadership. A guy named Tarek Korkmaz. He's the younger brother of one of the men we killed, and word is he's been meeting with this HESAP group. My enemies were joining forces. The ghosts of my past were becoming flesh and blood, and they were hunting me. February 1975, the first move. It started small. A restaurant I owned in Beyoğlu. Someone threw a Molotov cocktail through the window at 3 a.m. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. 3 days later, one of my gambling dens in Sicily was raided by police. They found everything. Money, records, weapons. 6 of my men arrested. Someone had tipped them off. Someone who knew exactly where to look. The next week, a truck carrying smuggled cigarettes worth 200,000 lira was intercepted at the port. Seized. Another inside tip. I was losing money. Losing operations, losing face. My men were getting nervous. In this world, when a boss looks weak, vultures circle. I needed to show strength, fast. I called a meeting. All my lieutenants, 15 men in a warehouse in Zeytinburnu. We're being attacked, I told them, not by another gang, by something worse, by the past, by people who want revenge. I explained about HESAP, about Murat Aksoy, about the coordinated attacks. So what do, boss? This from Salim. We do what we always do. We find them, and we end them. But one of my men, a guy named Hoken, spoke up. Young guy, only been with us 2 years. Good with computers and paperwork. Smart. Boss, with respect, maybe we should think about this differently. These aren't gangsters. They're citizens. If we start killing random people, the police will come down on us hard, and we'll create more enemies, more people wanting revenge. So what do you suggest? We just let them destroy us? No, we're smarter. We find their leaders, cut the head off the snake, and maybe we try to negotiate. Some of the older men laughed. Negotiate? With people who wanted us dead? But I didn't laugh, because somewhere deep inside I was tired. Tired of killing, tired of war, tired of creating more orphans and widows. Find out who's leading this group. Find Murat Aksoy. Find Tarek Korkmaz. We'll try talking first, but if talking doesn't work... I didn't need to finish the sentence. March 1975. Mehmet's question. Things at home were getting worse. I was never there, always working, always dealing with this new threat. Elif noticed. Of course she noticed. Kemal, what's happening? You come home at 3 a.m. You barely eat. You wake up screaming. Please talk to me. Business problems. Nothing serious. Don't lie to me. She was crying now. I'm not stupid. I know what you are. I've always known. But I pretended. For the children. For us. But now I'm scared. Whatever you're involved in, it's getting worse, isn't it? I wanted to tell her, wanted to confess everything. But how do you tell your wife you're a murderer? How do you tell her that your past is coming to destroy your future? I'll handle it, I promise. She looked at me with those eyes, the same honest eyes from that restaurant in Ulus 15 years ago. The eyes that saw the good in me when I couldn't see it myself. I don't want your money, Kemal. I don't want this big house or expensive clothes. I just want my husband. I want my children's father. I want us to be safe. We are safe. I won't let anything happen to you, to any of you. You can't promise that, not in your world." She was right, but I couldn't admit it. That night I was sitting in my study, late, going through reports, trying to find patterns in the attacks. A knock on the door, soft, tentative. "Come in." Mehmet entered. 10 years old, but his eyes looked older. Too old for a child. "Baba, I can't sleep." "Bad dream?" "No, I've been thinking. About things." "What things, Oglum?" He sat down, quiet for a moment, then, "What do you really do, Baba?" My heart stopped. "You know what I do. I run businesses, import-export, restaurants." "That's what you say, but that man who came to our house in January, he was angry. He said you destroyed his family. And I hear things at school, kids talking about their fathers, about gangs, about criminals. They say the name Kemal the Wolf. They say he's a dangerous man. I couldn't breathe. My son, my innocent son, he knew. Mehmet, are you a bad man, Baba? How do you answer that? How do you tell your 10-year-old son the truth? Life is complicated, Oglum. Sometimes good men do bad things. Sometimes bad men do good things. The world isn't black and white." That's not an answer. He was right, but it was the only answer I had. When I was your age, my father died. I had to take care of my family, my mother, my brothers. I did what I had to do to survive, and those choices, they led to other choices, and eventually I became someone I never wanted to be. Do you kill people? The question hung in the air, sharp, clear, unavoidable. I could lie, should lie, but looking at my son's face, I couldn't. Yes, he didn't cry, didn't scream, just nodded, like he'd already known, like he just needed me to confirm it. "Are you gonna stop?" "I can't. Not now. There are people who depend on me, and people who want to hurt us. If I stop, if I show weakness, we'll all be in danger. So we're already in danger. I'm protecting you. I'll always protect you." "Like you protected that man's father, the one who came to our house?" The words hit harder than any bullet. Mehmet stood up, walked to the door, turned back one more time. "I love you, Baba, but I don't want to be like you. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to save lives, not take them." He left, and I sat there in my study, alone, with my papers, my plans, my sins. My son knew, and he was ashamed of me, as he should be. April 1975, the trap. Selim found him, Murat Aksoy. He was living in Karakoy, working as an accountant at a textile factory. Ordinary life, ordinary job. But at night he was the brain behind HASAP. We followed him for a week, learned his routines. He was careful, always checking if he was being followed, never meeting in the same place twice. But everyone makes mistakes. He had a girlfriend, a woman named Denise. She worked at a library in Moda. Every Thursday evening he would meet her there when she finished work. They would walk to a cafe, sit for an hour, then go to her apartment. Thursday, April 10th, we made our move. Not violence, not yet. I wanted to talk first, like Hakan suggested. Maybe there was another way. I went alone. No guns, no backup, just me. I waited outside the library. When Murat and Denise came out, I stepped in front of them. Murat froze. His hand moved to his pocket. I raised my hands. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to talk. Get away from us." His voice was steady, but I could see fear in Denise's eyes. She didn't know who I was, but she could feel the danger. 5 minutes, that's all I ask. Then I'll leave. I have nothing to say to you. But I have something to say to you, please, for both our sakes. He looked at Denise. "Go home, I'll meet you later." "Murat, go, it's okay." She left, reluctantly, looking back several times. When she was gone, Murat turned to me. "You have 5 minutes." We walked to a small park nearby, sat on a bench, two enemies pretending to be civil. "I know you want revenge," I started. "I understand why. What I did to your father was wrong. It was brutal. It was unnecessary." "You think saying sorry fixes it?" "No, nothing fixes it. But I want you to understand something. Your father's death, it wasn't random violence. He killed my father. The bus accident in 1951, faulty brakes. He knew, he was cheap. He let my father die, and that started everything. My entire life, all the violence, all the death, it started because of what your father did." Murat was silent. Then, "My father made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but he spent every day after that living with guilt. He donated money, he helped families, he tried to make amends, but you murdered him. You emptied your gun into him, 8 bullets. You didn't give him a chance to explain, to apologize, to make it right. You're right. So what do you want from me, forgiveness? You won't get it. No, I want to stop this cycle. Your revenge will lead to more death. My response will lead to more death, more orphans, more widows, more people like us full of hate planning revenge. When does it end? It ends when you're dead. You and everyone like you. All the gangsters who think they can do whatever they want, who think they're above the law, above consequences. HASAP isn't just about you, Kemal. It's about justice, real justice. Justice? You're planning to kill me, to kill my men, maybe even hurt my family. How is that different from what I did? Because you're a criminal. You chose this life. My father was just trying to run a business. Your victims were innocent. Mine will be guilty. My children are innocent. My wife is innocent. Will they be your victims too?" For the first time I saw doubt in his eyes. "We won't touch your family. That's not what we do. We're not animals. We're not like you. But when you kill me, what do you think will happen? My men will come after you, after everyone in HASAP, and they won't be as careful about innocent people. This war you're starting, it won't end clean. It never does." He stood up. "Your 5 minutes are up. I'll give you one piece of advice. Get out of Istanbul. Take your family. Disappear, because this is happening. With or without you here, we're tearing down every gang in this city. But if you leave, if you walk away, maybe you and your family can have a life. A real life, away from all this. I can't just leave. People depend on me. Then you'll die, and everyone around you will die. And maybe eventually my people will die too. But we're willing to make that sacrifice. Are you?" He walked away, left me sitting there on that bench. I had tried talking. It didn't work. Now I had to make a choice. Walk away, like he said, or fight back. But I knew I couldn't walk away, because if I did, I'd look weak. And in my world, weakness is death. My men would turn on me. Other gangs would move in. Everything I'd built would collapse. And more than that, I was Kemal the Wolf. I didn't run. I didn't hide. Maybe I should have. Maybe everything would have been different. But I didn't. May 1975. The war begins. First, I needed to know everything about HASAP. Every member, every plan, every weakness. I put Hakan on it. He was smart with information. He started digging. Police contacts, street informants, court records, looking for connections. Within 2 weeks he had a list. 23 names, all men between 20 and 35, all with connections to people killed in gang violence. Some were sons like Murat, some were brothers. One was a father whose son had been caught in crossfire. They were organized, meeting in secret, training at a gym in Sicily, learning how to fight, how to shoot, how to plan operations. And they were partnering with Tarek Korkmaz's rebuilt crew, about 15 experienced criminals, providing weapons, training, strategy. Together they had maybe 40 people. Not a huge force, but motivated, focused, dangerous. "What do you want to do, boss?" Hawken asked. I looked at the list. 23 ordinary men, accountants, teachers, shopkeepers, factory workers, men who should have been living normal lives, but I had taken that from them. We split them, drive a wedge between the civilians and the criminals. Tarek Korkmaz and his crew, they're in this for power, for territory, for revenge. But the Hesap people, they think they're doing something righteous. If we can make them see that they're just tools for criminals, maybe some of them will walk away. How do we do that? We expose Tarek's real plan. He's not helping them for justice. He's using them. Once they destroy us, he'll take over our territory. He'll become what we are, and those Hesap people, they'll have blood on their hands for nothing. It was a long shot, but better than outright war. We started spreading information, carefully, through intermediaries, letting certain Hesap members overhear conversations, leaving documents where they could be found, showing how Tarek was planning to expand his drug operations, how he'd been recruiting, how he'd already designated which territories he'd control after we were gone. Some of them started to doubt. We could see it in how they operated. Hesitations, arguments at their meetings, divisions forming. But Murat Aksoy wasn't fooled. He knew what we were doing, and he held the group together through sheer force of personality. Then, on May 15th, they made their first major move. A convoy, 3 cars, carrying 500,000 lira in cash from our gambling operations to a safe house in Üsküdar. My money, my security. They hit us on the Bosphorus Bridge, middle of the day, bold, coordinated, professional. 2 cars boxed in the convoy. Armed men jumped out, not trying to rob us, trying to kill us. My driver in the lead car was shot in the first seconds. The car swerved, crashed into the barrier. The second car tried to escape. They shot out the tires. 4 of my men dead. The money taken, but more than that, they made us look weak. In broad daylight, on the busiest bridge in Istanbul, they attacked us and got away. I got the call while having lunch at home. A rare day with my family. Mehmet had a school event. Elif had cooked his favorite meal. Aylin was singing a song she learned in class. Normal life. For 2 hours I was just a father, just a husband. Then the phone rang. "Boss, we've been hit. The Bosphorus Bridge, 4 dead. Money's gone." Everything changed. The father disappeared. The gangster returned. I stood up from the table. Elif saw my face. She knew. "You have to go. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just come back." I kissed her, kissed my children, knowing that I might not see them again. But I didn't show fear, couldn't show fear. I was Kemal the Wolf. I was a dead man pretending to be alive. The response. That night we gathered, all my lieutenants, all my best men, 20 of us in a warehouse in Pendik. They drew blood, I said, in public. They made us look weak. If we don't respond hard and fast, we're finished. Every gang in Istanbul will see us as prey. "What do you want to do?" Salim asked. "We hit Tarek Korkmaz first. He's the muscle behind this operation. We take him out, Hesap loses half its power. Where is he? He's been operating out of a nightclub in Taksim, Club Ayasigi. He's there most nights, back room on the 2nd floor, usually has 6 or 7 men with him. That's suicide, middle of Taksim, crowded, police everywhere. That's why he feels safe there, that's why he won't expect it. I picked 6 men, the best I had, Selim included. We planned it carefully. Waiters' uniforms, fake IDs, weapons hidden in a maintenance cart. Saturday night, May 18th, Club Ayasigi would be packed, hundreds of people dancing, drinking, living their lives, not knowing that death was walking through the door. We entered at 11 p.m., showed our fake IDs to the bouncer. He barely looked. We pushed the cart through the club, past dancing couples, past drunk businessmen, past young people just trying to have fun. Second floor, 2 guards outside Tarek's room. They saw us coming, started to question. Salim shot both of them quick. Silenced pistol. They fell without a sound. We kicked in the door. Tarek was there, plus 6 men. They were counting money, planning something. They reached for their guns. Too slow. We opened fire. The room exploded with violence, bullets, screams, blood. It was over in 15 seconds. 7 men dead, including Tarek Korkmaz, the younger brother who wanted revenge for his family, now just another corpse. But there was a problem. One of his men had gotten a shot off, hit our youngest guy, a kid named Oken. He was 19, been with us only 6 months. Bullet caught him in the throat. He went down, bleeding out, drowning in his own blood. We couldn't save him, couldn't even bring him with us, too dangerous. We left him there dying on the floor of that club, while below us people danced. We escaped out the back, split up, got away clean. But Oken died, alone, in a pool of his own blood, surrounded by the corpses of his enemies. He was 19 years old, and I had sent him there. That night I couldn't go home, couldn't face Elif, couldn't pretend to be normal. I went to a hotel, got drunk, very drunk, but no amount of alcohol could wash away what I'd done, what I kept doing. I was 36 years old, and I had already killed 27 people, 27 ghosts, and more were coming. June 1975, the retaliation. The morning after the nightclub massacre, Istanbul exploded. Every newspaper, every radio station. Gang war massacre in Taksim, -8 dead. Photos of the club, blood-stained floors, body bags being carried out. The police were under pressure. The mayor was furious. Tourism was suffering. Istanbul's reputation was being destroyed by gang violence. They launched a massive crackdown, raids across the city, dozens of arrests. They didn't care if you were guilty or not. If you looked like a criminal, you were dragged in. 14 of my men were arrested in the first week, not for the nightclub. They had no evidence for that, but for old charges. Gambling, smuggling, assault, things we'd been paying to keep quiet. Someone had stopped taking our money, or someone had paid more. My operations were crippling, businesses shut down, protection rackets falling apart, money stopped flowing. Worse, my men were scared. The old ones, the loyal ones, they stayed, but the younger ones, they started disappearing, leaving the city, switching sides. I was losing the war, not through violence, through attrition. And then Hesap struck again. June 8th, the home invasion. It was a Tuesday evening. I was at a meeting in Sicily, discussing how to rebuild after the crackdown, how to get our operations running again. My phone rang, home number. Kemal! Elif's voice, terrified, screaming. They're in the house, men with guns, they're... The line went dead. My blood froze. Everything froze. Move, now, my house. We piled into 3 cars, drove like madmen through Istanbul traffic, 15 minutes that felt like 15 hours. I burst through the front door, gun drawn, ready to kill everyone. The house was destroyed, furniture overturned, windows broken, but no bodies, no blood. Elif, Mehmet, Sem, Aylin. Silence. Then I heard crying, soft, coming from upstairs. I ran up. Mehmet's room. The door was locked from inside. Mehmet, it's Baba. Open the door. The lock clicked. The door opened slowly. All 4 of them, Elif, Mehmet, Sem, Aylin, hiding in the closet. Elif was holding a kitchen knife, shaking. Mehmet had his arms around his younger siblings. They're gone, Mehmet said. His voice was steady, too steady for a 10-year-old. 6 men, masks, guns. They came in through the back door. I heard them. I got everyone upstairs, locked the door. They searched the house but didn't break down this door. Then they left. My son, my 10-year-old son, had saved his family. While I was out being a gangster, Elif collapsed into my arms, sobbing, "They would have killed us! They would have killed the children!" "No one's going to hurt you, I promise. Don't!" She pushed me away, fury in her eyes. "Don't promise. Don't lie to me anymore. This is your world. This is what you brought into our home. Men with guns, terror, death." The children were watching. Shem was crying. Aylin didn't understand what was happening, but Mehmet was watching me with cold eyes. Eyes that reminded me of my own. "I'll move you somewhere safe, somewhere they can't find you. Or you could stop. You could walk away. You could choose us." "I can't. Not now. If I show weakness, if I run, they'll hunt us forever. The only way to keep you safe is to end this, to win this war. And how many people have to die for you to win? How much blood has to be spilled?" I had no answer. I moved them that night to a safe house in Sarrier, up the Bosphorus, remote, hidden, surrounded by my most trusted men. Elif barely spoke to me. The children were traumatized. Shem had nightmares. Aylin kept asking when they could go home. Mehmet said nothing, just watched, calculated, understanding more than a child should. As I left them there, Elif grabbed my arm. "If you die out there doing your business, don't expect me to cry at your funeral. I'll be relieved, because at least then, this nightmare will be over." Words that cut deeper than any knife. June 1975, the hunt for Hisap. They had crossed the line. Attacking my men was business. Attacking my family was war. I called every resource I had, every informant, every corrupt cop, every street contact. I needed to find Hesap, all of them, especially Murat Aksoy. The message I sent was clear. 100,000 lira for information leading to any Hisap member, dead or alive. Money talks, even to good people. Within 3 days we had our first lead. A man named Erkan Yildiz, age 28. His older brother had been killed in crossfire during a turf war in 1973. One of my men had shot him. Accidental, but dead is dead. Erkan worked at a printing shop in Katakoy. Lived alone in a small apartment in Moda. Quiet guy, no criminal record. Perfect Hisap recruit. We grabbed him on his way home from work. Quick, clean, no witnesses. Took him to an abandoned factory in Kartal. Tied him to a chair. I didn't want to do this. Didn't want to torture a civilian, but my family had been threatened. My children had hidden in a closet, terrified. Mercy was a luxury I couldn't afford. Erkan, I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to answer. If you lie, you'll suffer. If you tell the truth, you'll live. Understand? He was terrified, shaking, but his eyes, there was hatred there, deep, burning hatred. I won't tell you anything. Do what you want. I'm not afraid to die. Everyone's afraid to die, but there are worse things than death. Selim stepped forward with pliers, started with a fingernail. Erkan screamed. God, he screamed. I hated myself, hated what I was doing, but I didn't stop. After 3 fingernails, he broke. Okay, I'll tell you. Please. Where's Murat Aksoy? I don't know. He doesn't tell us. We only meet him in different locations. Never the same place twice. When's the next meeting? Friday, June 13th. Warehouse in Pendik. 10 p.m. How many members? 20? Maybe 22. Some have left. Scared. After you killed Tarek. Who planned the attack on my house? His face changed. Confusion. Real confusion. What attack? Tuesday night, 6 men. My house in Besiktas. That wasn't us. Hisap doesn't attack families. That's our rule. Murat was clear. Only criminals. Only guilty people. I looked at Selim. He looked back at me, both of us thinking the same thing. If Hesap didn't attack my house, who did? You're lying. I swear on my brother's grave, we don't touch families. That's the whole point. We're not like you." I believed him. His terror was real. His confusion was real. Someone else had attacked my home. Someone else had terrorized my family. But who and why? We left Erkin there, alive. Told him if he warned Hesap about the Friday meeting, we'd kill his entire family. Then we went back to figure out who was playing games. The third player, Håkon, did research. Security, neighbors, street cameras, what few existed in 1975. He found something interesting. The 6 men who attacked my house, they arrived in 2 cars. The cars were registered to a company, a trucking company in Gazi Osman Pasha, owned by a man named Veli Sarioglu. The name meant nothing to me, but Selim's face went white. "Boss, Veli Sarioglu is Davut Kaya's nephew. Davut Kaya, my old boss from Ankara, the man who had given me my start, the man I'd worked for until I moved to Istanbul in 1970. Why would Davut attack my family? Maybe he didn't. Maybe Veli's freelancing. Or maybe what? Maybe Davut wants you back, or wants you dead. You've been independent for 5 years. You don't pay him tribute anymore. You've built a big operation. Maybe he's jealous. Maybe he wants to take over. A third enemy, just what I needed. But it made sense. In this world there are no friends, only temporary allies. And when you become too successful, too powerful, even your old bosses see you as competition. I needed to know for sure. I called Ankara, a guy I knew there, Mustafa. He ran a small crew but stayed connected to everything. "Mustafa, it's Kemal. I need information about Davut Kaya. Kemal, long time. How's Istanbul treating you?" "Like it wants to kill me." "What's Davut doing these days?" "Same as always. Running his operations, but there's been talk." "What kind of talk?" "He's been expanding, pushing into territories he never touched before, being aggressive. Some people say he's trying to build an empire, not just Ankara. He wants Istanbul, too. And I'm in his way. You're the biggest obstacle. You already control what he wants. And you know his methods, his contacts, his weaknesses. If he moves on Istanbul, he needs to deal with you first. So he's using Hesap, using the chaos, weakening me while pretending to be uninvolved. That's what I'd do." I hung up, looked at my men. "We have 3 enemies. Hesap wants justice. The police want order, and Davut Kaya wants my territory. We're being crushed from all sides. What do? This from Håkon. We do what we should have done from the beginning. We go to war, real war, not half measures, not restraint. We burn it all down." June 13th, the Pendik warehouse. We came with 20 men, heavily armed, no mercy, no prisoners. The warehouse was isolated, industrial area, empty at night, perfect for a secret meeting. We surrounded it, covered all exits, then we waited. At 10 p.m. they started arriving, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, regular people trying to look casual, but we could see the fear, the nervous glances, the hands in pockets probably gripping weapons. By 10:15, 19 people were inside. "Move in, silent. When I give the signal, we take them all." We breached every entrance simultaneously. Flashbangs, smoke, chaos. They were caught completely off guard. Some tried to fight. Most just froze. It was a massacre. We killed 12 of them in the first minute. The rest tried to run. We hunted them through the warehouse, between crates, behind machinery, like animals. When the smoke cleared, 18 bodies, 1 survivor, shot in the leg, bleeding, begging, "Please, please don't kill me. I have a daughter. She's only 3 years old." I walked up to him, looked down. He was maybe 25, young, scared, just a man who wanted revenge for something I'd probably done. "Where's Murat Aksoy?" He wasn't here. He called, said the meeting was canceled, told us to leave, but we were already here. We decided to meet anyway, to plan our next move. He set you up. What? He knew we were coming. He sacrificed you to save himself." The man's face changed. Realization, betrayal, anger. He wouldn't. He said we were brothers, he said. He lied. In this world, everyone lies. I shot him. Mercy bullet. Quick. Clean. 18 dead. All because they wanted justice. All because I destroyed their families. And Murat Aksoy had used them as bait. The message. We left a message at the warehouse, spray-painted on the wall in blood-red letters. "Murat, you're next. Kemal." I wanted him scared, wanted him to know we were coming, wanted him to make a mistake, but Murat didn't scare easily. 2 days later, a package arrived at my office. No return address, wrapped in plain brown paper. My Lieutenant Salim opened it. Inside was a video cassette and a note. "Kemal, you killed 18 civilians, sons, brothers, fathers. You're a monster, but I'm going to show the world what kind of monster. Watch the tape. Murat!" We played the tape, security footage from the Pendik warehouse. He'd planted cameras, recorded everything, the breach, the flashbangs and the shooting, all 18 deaths. Clear, graphic, undeniable. My men executing terrified people, hunting them, killing them without mercy, and at the end, me, walking up to the wounded survivor, having a brief conversation, then shooting him in the head while he begged for his life. "Boss, if this gets out, we're finished. The police will have no choice. They'll come after us with everything. The public will demand it. What do we do? Find Murat before he releases this. If he gives it to the media, to the police, we're done." But finding Murat Aksoy was like finding a ghost. He'd gone completely underground. No apartment, no job, no family to pressure, nothing. Just a voice on the phone, a shadow in the dark, a threat that wouldn't die. June 20th, Mehmet's discovery. I visited the safe house in Sarayar, needed to see my family, needed to know they were okay. Elif barely acknowledged me. She'd been like that since the attack. Cold, distant, like she was already mourning a dead husband. Kem was still having nightmares. Aylin was confused, kept asking why they couldn't go to school. But Mehmet was different. I found him in his room. He was reading, but not a school book, a newspaper, with an article about the nightclub massacre, with my name mentioned. Kemal Yilmaz, also known as the Wolf, suspected gang leader. Where did you get that? One of your men. He left it in the kitchen. I read it. Mehmet, is it true? Did you kill those people in the nightclub? I could lie, should lie, but he'd already seen through too many lies. Yes, and the warehouse, the one everyone's talking about, the 18 people? Yes, he nodded, put the newspaper down, looked at me with those cold, calculating eyes. Why? Because they were trying to kill me, trying to hurt our family. I had to protect us by killing them first. Yes, so it's kill or be killed. That's your world. That's the world I live in. But you don't have to. You can be different, better. You can be a doctor like you said. You can save lives. He laughed, not a child's laugh. Something darker. How can I be a doctor when I'm Kemal the Wolf's son? When everyone knows what you are? When people will always look at me and see you? You're your own person. You choose who you become. Did you choose? Or did circumstances choose for you? Smart. Too smart. He was asking the questions I'd been avoiding for 20 years. Both. I made choices, bad choices, but I made them. And I have to live with them. And we have to live with them too. Me, Anne, Cem, Aylin, we're all living with your choices. Hiding in this house, protected by criminals. Afraid to go outside. This is our life now. Because of you. His words hurt more than bullets. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to end this war. Then we can have a normal life. Can we? Can you just stop being Kemal the Wolf? Can you just walk away from everything you've built? From all the people who depend on you? From all the enemies who want you dead? I don't know. For the first time I was honest with my son and myself. I don't know if I can stop, because stopping means showing weakness, and weakness means death, not just for me, for all of us. Mehmet stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the Bosphorus. Then we're trapped, forever, until someone finally kills you, and maybe kills us too. I won't let that happen. You can't promise that. He was right. He was 10 years old, and he understood my world better than I did. Baba, I want to ask you something, and I want the truth. Anything. Do you regret it? Any of it? Would you change it if you could? Would I? If I could go back to 1954, to that moment when Davut Kaya offered me money, would I refuse? Would I choose boxing instead? Would I choose honor over survival? Every day, every single day, I regret it. But regret doesn't change anything, doesn't bring back the dead, doesn't fix the damage. I am who I am, and I'll carry these sins until I die. What happens to us when you die? You'll be free. You'll have the money I've saved. You'll take care of your mother and siblings. You'll build a life, a good life, away from all this. Blood money. Yes, blood money, but money that can buy you education, safety, a future. Take it, use it, be better than me. He turned from the window, looked at me one more time. I will be. I promise you, Baba, I'll be nothing like you. It should have made me happy, should have been what I wanted, but it felt like death. June 25th, the betrayal. We got a tip, anonymous call, a warehouse in Tuzla. Murat Aksoy would be there alone, preparing to release the video. It was too convenient, too perfect, obviously a trap. But I didn't care. I needed to end this, needed to stop him before that video destroyed everything. I took 5 men, my best, Selim, Hakan, and 3 others, experienced, loyal, deadly. We approached carefully, scanned for ambush. The warehouse looked empty, abandoned, too empty. Boss, I don't like this. Neither do I, but we don't have a choice. Stay sharp. If it's a trap, we fight our way out. We entered dark, quiet, smell of oil and decay, then lights, bright, blinding, and voices. Don't move! Police, drop your weapons! Dozens of cops, SWAT team, surrounded, guns pointed at us from every angle. We'd been set up, but not by Hesap. The police commander stepped forward. I recognized him. Captain Haluk Erdem. He'd been on Davut Kaya's payroll for years. Kemal Yilmaz, you're under arrest for multiple counts of murder, racketeering, illegal weapons possession, and about 50 other charges. How much is Davut paying you? He smiled, cold, professional. Enough! More than you can afford. Drop your weapons, now. We had no choice. 50 cops, automatic weapons, bulletproof vests. This wasn't a fight we could win. We surrendered. As they cuffed me, Captain Erdem leaned close, whispered, Davut sends his regards. He also sends a message. Istanbul belongs to him now. Your family is safe, though. He's not a monster. He'll let them live, as long as they leave the city and never come back. If he touches my family, you'll what? You're going to prison, Kemal. For the rest of your life, you're finished. They dragged us out, pushed us into police vans, drove us to headquarters. As we pulled away, I looked back at the warehouse, and there in the shadows I saw a figure, watching, smiling, Murat Aksoy. He hadn't set us up, but he'd known, somehow he'd known, and he'd come to watch his enemy fall. Our eyes met, just for a second, and in that second I saw something that chilled me. Victory, but also emptiness. Because revenge, when you finally get it, never fills the hole inside you. He'd won, but he'd lost himself winning. Just like I'd lost myself years ago. Metris Prison, July 1975. They took me to Metris Prison. Maximum security, reserved for the worst criminals in Turkey, murderers, rapists, political prisoners, and gang leaders. I was put in a cell alone, isolated. They said it was for my protection. Really, it was to break me. Solitary confinement drives men insane. But I welcomed the silence, welcomed the isolation. For the first time in 20 years, I had nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to protect, no enemies to fight. Just me, alone with my thoughts, my memories, my sins. The list of charges was long. They couldn't prove the nightclub massacre or the Pendick warehouse directly. No witnesses, no evidence, just suspicions. But they had plenty of other crimes: racketeering, money laundering, assault, weapons charges, enough to put me away for 30 years. My lawyer, an expensive one paid for by my hidden accounts, said we could fight it. Plea bargains, technicalities, corruption. But I didn't want to fight. I was tired, so tired. Tired of running, tired of killing, tired of being Kemal the Wolf. Just get me a deal where my family is protected, where they get the money I've saved, where they can leave Istanbul safely. That's all I want. But Mr. Yilmaz, you could get life in prison. Good. Maybe that's what I deserve. They told Elif I was arrested. She came to visit once, only once. She sat across from me in the visiting room, behind the glass, speaking through the phone. She looked tired, older, like the weight of my sins had aged her. The lawyer says you're accepting a plea deal, 15 to 20 years. Yes. Why not fight? You have money, connections. You could... I'm tired, Elif. Tired of fighting. Tired of destroying everything I touch. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I'm taking the children. We're leaving Istanbul. The lawyer will arrange everything. We'll have enough money to start over, somewhere quiet, somewhere normal. Where? You don't need to know. It's better if you don't. Better if you can't tell anyone, even by accident. She was right. Even in prison I had enemies, people who might try to hurt my family, to hurt me. Will you tell the children? Will you tell them I love them? That everything I did, all the terrible things, I thought I was protecting them? Tears rolled down her face. They know, Kemal, but knowing doesn't make it hurt less. Mehmet says he'll never forgive you, says when he grows up, he's going to be everything you're not. Good. That's all I ever wanted. Shem cries every night, asks when Baba's coming home. I don't have the heart to tell him. And Aylin? She's too young to understand. Maybe that's a blessing. By the time she's old enough to remember, we'll be gone, and you'll just be a story, a cautionary tale. I'm sorry for everything, for being the man I became, for dragging you into my hell. I'm sorry, too. Sorry I wasn't strong enough to leave you years ago. Sorry I let my children grow up in your world. We're both guilty, Kemal, just in different ways. She stood up, put her hand on the glass. I put mine against hers. Separated by bulletproof barrier, like we'd been separated our whole marriage. Me in my world of violence, her in her world of denial. Goodbye, Kemal. Goodbye, Elif. She walked away, didn't look back. I never saw her again. The plea deal, August 1975. The trial was quick. I pled guilty to reduced charges, racketeering, money laundering, assault, weapons possession. The prosecutor wanted to charge me with murder, but they couldn't prove it. Bodies don't talk. Witnesses disappear. And in 1975, Turkey forensic science was primitive. The judge sentenced me to 18 years, Metris prison, no possibility of parole for at least 12. I was 36 years old. I'd be 54 when I got out, if someone didn't kill me in prison first. The headlines were brutal. The fall of the wolf, Istanbul gang leader sentenced, reign of terror ends, Kemal Yilmaz behind bars, city breathes again, major criminal sentenced to 18 years. I was the example. the monster they could parade to show the public they were tough on crime. But they didn't mention who'd set me up, didn't investigate Davut Kaya's involvement, didn't care about the corruption that put me there. Justice isn't about truth, it's about appearances. Metris prison was hell, but a different kind of hell than my life outside. Outside I was always moving, always fighting, always looking over my shoulder. Inside there was only time, endless, crushing time. The first months were the worst. Withdrawal, not from drugs, I never touched them, but from power, from respect, from fear. In prison I was just another inmate. The guards didn't care who I used to be. The other prisoners tested me constantly, trying to prove themselves by beating the famous wolf. I fought back, had to. In prison, weakness gets you killed or worse. I broke a man's jaw in the shower, shattered another one's kneecap in the cafeteria. Word spread, people left me alone. But I took no pleasure in it. Each fight was just survival, not dominance, not power, just staying alive one more day. I got letters sometimes, anonymous, from people whose families I'd destroyed. I hope you rot in there. You deserve worse than prison. You deserve death. My brother would be alive if not for you. I hope you suffer every day. They were right. I did deserve worse, and I was suffering, but not from the prison, from the memories. Every night faces, Hussein in his bakery, Layla burning in the club, Iskender in his bedroom, the 18 civilians in the warehouse, Rahmi Aksoy with 8 bullets in him, and worst of all, my family's faces. Elif's disappointment, Mehmet's cold eyes, Kem's tears, Aylin's confusion. I had destroyed so many lives, including my own family's. 1976, 1 year into my sentence, I had a visitor, unexpected, not family, not a lawyer, Murat Aksoy. He sat across from me in the visiting room, older, thinner, haunted. "Why are you here?" "I don't know. Curiosity, maybe. I wanted to see what victory looked like." "And how does it look?" "Empty." We sat in silence for a long time. "I got what I wanted," he said finally. "You're in prison. Your empire is destroyed. Davut Kaya took over your territory. The gang wars have calmed down. Istanbul is quieter. I should feel satisfied. But you don't." "No, because 18 of my friends are dead. The Pendik warehouse. You massacred them, and I lured them there. Not intentionally, but I was careless. I met with someone who was working for you, fed me false information, and I believed it. I led them to their deaths. So we're the same, both of us drowning in blood, both of us haunted by the people we killed. We're not the same. You're a criminal. I was seeking justice. Justice. You partnered with Tarek Korkmaz, a drug dealer, a murderer. You became what you hated just like I did." His face crumpled. The anger, the righteousness, all of it crumbled, and underneath was just a broken man. I know, God, I know. I tell myself it was necessary, that the ends justified the means, but at night I see their faces. The 18, they trusted me, believed in me, and I led them to slaughter. What happened to Hesap? Disbanded. After the warehouse, the survivors left, went back to their normal lives, tried to forget. I'm the only one left, the only one still carrying this. So you came here for what? Absolution? Forgiveness? Maybe. Or maybe just to talk to someone who understands, someone else who knows what it's like to be a monster. I looked at this man, this young man who'd dedicated years to destroying me, who'd succeeded, who'd won, and I saw myself at his age, full of rage, full of purpose, thinking I was doing the right thing. Murat, let me tell you something I've learned. Revenge doesn't heal wounds, it just creates new ones. You wanted to hurt me, and you did, but you also hurt yourself. You hurt your friends. You became part of the same violence you claimed to fight. So what should I have done? Just let you get away with killing my father? No, you should have lived, built a good life, honored your father by being better than me, by not becoming me. But you chose revenge, and revenge destroyed you just like it destroyed me." Tears ran down his face. "I don't know how to live with what I've done. You learn, day by day. You carry the guilt. You try to do better. You try to be better, but you never forget, never forgive yourself, because forgiveness is a luxury people like us don't deserve." He stood up, wiped his tears. "Thank you for being honest. Murat, one more thing. Do something good with your life. Don't waste it like I did. The best revenge against your demons is to prove they couldn't destroy you." He nodded, walked away. I never saw him again. Years later, I heard he became a social worker, helping at-risk youth, trying to prevent them from falling into violence. Maybe he found some redemption. Maybe he saved lives instead of taking them. I hope he did, because at least then some good came from all this suffering. 1977 to 1980. Prison time moves differently. Days blur together. Weeks become months, become years. I kept to myself, read books, worked in the prison library, stayed out of trouble. Other gang leaders were in Metris, men I'd fought against, men who hated me. We had an unspoken truce. Too many guards, too many consequences. We avoided each other. I got news from outside sometimes, through letters, through new inmates. Davut Kaya had indeed taken over Istanbul, built an empire bigger than mine, more sophisticated, more brutal. The gang wars continued. Different players, same violence, same death. Nothing had changed. I'd just been replaced. My family had disappeared. The lawyer confirmed they'd left Turkey entirely. Europe somewhere. New names, new lives. I was glad. They deserved better than being associated with me. In 1978, there was a prison riot. Political prisoners fighting with guards. It spread to the whole prison. Fires, fighting, chaos. I stayed in my cell, barricaded the door, waited it out. The army came, restored order brutally. 13 prisoners dead, dozens injured. I survived. Again, always surviving, like a cockroach. Too stupid to die, too guilty to live. By 1980, I'd been in prison for 5 years, 13 more to go. An eternity, a lifetime. I was 41 years old, my hair was graying, my body was aging. The boxing muscles I'd built as a teenager were disappearing. I was becoming old, invisible, forgotten. Maybe that was the punishment I deserved. Not death, not violence, just slow erasure, fading away while the world moved on without me. The morning of September 12, 1980, I woke to the sound of military trucks, dozens of them, rolling past the prison. Soldiers everywhere, tanks on the streets, helicopters overhead. The guards were nervous, whispering. Something big was happening. By noon, we knew. Military coup. General Kenan Evren had seized control of the government. Martial law declared across Turkey. Parliament dissolved. Politicians arrested. Turkey had seen coups before. 1960, 1971. This was the third, but this one felt different. Harder, more absolute. The prison went into lockdown. No visitors, no letters, no information, just silence and uncertainty. For 3 weeks we heard nothing from outside, just rumors, whispers between cells, speculation. Then the new rules came. All prisoners would be re-evaluated. Political prisoners, common criminals, gang members, everyone. Military tribunals, new sentences, new judgments. Some would be released, some would get harsher sentences, some would disappear entirely. I didn't know what to expect. Gang leaders weren't political, but in times like these, definitions changed. Anyone could be labeled a threat. October 1980, the tribunal, they came for me on October 3rd. Military police, not regular guards. They dragged me from my cell, put me in chains, threw me in a truck with 5 other prisoners. We drove to a military facility in Hadımköy, outside Istanbul, remote, isolated. The tribunal was held in a concrete room, no windows, 3 military judges behind a steel table, a prosecutor, no defense attorney. This wasn't justice, this was processing. The head judge, a colonel named Mehmet Özkan, read from a file. Kemal Yilmaz, age 41, former gang leader convicted in 1975 of racketeering, money laundering, assault, weapons charges, currently serving 18 years, 5 years completed. He looked up at me, cold military eyes, no emotion, no mercy. Under normal circumstances, you would serve 13 more years. But these are not normal circumstances. Turkey is being cleansed, reorganized, strengthened. What does that mean for me? We've reviewed your case, reviewed your history. You are classified as a level 3 threat, organized crime, violence, corruption. Normally you would be executed. My heart stopped. Executed. Just like that. No appeals, no second chances. However, he flipped through more papers. There are complications. Your file contains a reference letter from someone very influential. Who? That's classified. But this person vouches for you, claims you provided intelligence, helped to prevent certain incidents, saved lives. I was confused. I'd never cooperated with authorities, never been an informant. Never then, I understood. Davut Kaya. He'd somehow inserted a false record, made it look like I'd been useful, protected me. But why? Based on this letter and given the current national priorities, your sentence is being modified. You will serve 8 more years, total of 13 years, with possibility of early parole for good behavior. I couldn't believe it. I should have been executed, should have died in that concrete room, but somehow I'd been saved. Do you understand these terms? Yes, sir. Do you have anything to say? What could I say? Thank you for not killing me? Thank you for keeping me in hell for 8 more years? No, sir. Then return to Metris and be grateful, Yilmaz. You've been given a gift. Don't waste it. They dragged me back to the truck. Back to prison, back to my cell. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt more trapped than ever, because now I owed Davut Kaya my life, and debts like that are never free. November 1980. The message. 3 weeks after the tribunal, I received a visitor. Not Davut himself, too obvious, too dangerous for him to be seen with a convicted criminal. A man named Ramazan. Middle-aged, expensive suit, cold eyes, one of Davut's top lieutenants. He sat across from me in the visiting room, smiled. Not friendly, predatory. Kemal, it's been a long time. What do you want? Direct. I like that. Davut saved your life. The tribunal would have executed you, but Davut has connections, even in the military. He pulled strings. Why? Because you're useful, even in prison. You have knowledge, experience, connections, and most importantly, you have something Davut wants. I have nothing. You have loyalty, from men who used to work for you, men who are still out there. Some work for Davut now, but others are independent, hiding, waiting. They respect you, fear you, and Davut wants to use that. I'm not going to be his puppet. Ramazan laughed, actually laughed. You already are. You owe him your life, and in our world, that debt is everything. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to write letters to your old crew. Tell them to cooperate with Davut. Tell them resistance is pointless. Tell them you've made peace with the new order. And if I refuse, then Davut withdraws his support. The military reevaluates your case. You get executed, and then Davut goes after your family. My blood froze. My family is gone, hidden. You can't find them. Can't we? Europe is big, Kemal, but not that big. We have contacts, resources, time. We'll find them eventually. Your wife, your children, your brothers, everyone you love, and we'll make you watch before we kill you. This was the real threat, not death, not prison, the possibility that my sins would reach across borders and destroy the only innocent things in my life. What exactly does Davut want? Loyalty? Cooperation? Your men need to stop resisting, stop causing problems. Istanbul needs to be stable, peaceful, profitable. Davut is building something, an empire. He doesn't need ghosts from the past disrupting it. Fine, I'll write the letters. Good. See? Cooperation is easy when properly motivated. He stood to leave, then turned back. Oh, and Kemal, Davut sends a message. He says you are always his best student. Smart, ruthless, controlled. He's almost proud of what you became. Almost. Tell Davut I said to go to hell. Ramazan smiled. You're already in hell, Kemal. We're just making sure you stay there. 1981 to 1983. The letters. I wrote the letters. Hated every word, but I wrote them. To Selim, to Hokan, to the others who'd survived the purge and arrests. Men who'd once followed me, respected me, feared me. I told them to cooperate with Davut. That resistance was pointless. That the old wars were over, that Istanbul belonged to Davut now. Some responded, bitter letters, angry, feeling betrayed. Boss, how can you say this, after everything we fought for? You're giving up, surrendering. This isn't the wolf I knew. We could still fight, still take back what's ours. But most didn't respond, they just obeyed, because in our world, orders from the boss are absolute, even from prison, even when you disagree. Davut's empire grew, stronger, richer, more organized. He controlled gambling, smuggling, protection rackets across Istanbul and Ankara, maybe beyond. And I had helped him, betrayed my own men to save my family. Every letter felt like a piece of my soul dying. But what choice did I have? Risk my children's lives for pride, for loyalty to criminals? No, I'd made my choice long ago, and now I was living with the consequences. 1984, the old man. Something happened in 1984 that changed everything. An old man was transferred to Metris. Political prisoner, former member of parliament. Arrested during the coup for anti-state activities. His name was Ahmet Guven. He was 68 years old, frail, sick, tuberculosis. He shouldn't have been in prison, should have been in a hospital or a grave. The guards put him in the cell next to mine. I could hear him coughing at night, wet, rattling coughs, the sound of death approaching. I tried to ignore him, tried to stay isolated like always, but one night his coughing got so bad I thought he was dying. I called the guards. They didn't care. Old man's been coughing for weeks. He'll either get better or die. Not our problem. I couldn't let him die. Don't know why. Maybe I was tired of death. Maybe I wanted to save one life after taking so many. I started sharing my food with him. Prison food was terrible, but he wasn't eating his. I'd pass portions through the gap under the doors, make sure he ate something. I'd talk to him through the wall, keep him company, keep him fighting. "Why are you helping me?" he asked one night. "You're Kemal the Wolf, a gangster, a killer. Why do you care if an old man dies?" "Because I'm tired of death. Because maybe, just maybe, if I save one life, it'll balance out some of the lives I took." He laughed, then coughed, then laughed again. "That's not how it works. Karma doesn't balance like mathematics. You can't erase murder with kindness. I know, but I have to try something. Have to believe there's some redemption possible. Is there for men like you? I don't know, maybe not. But giving up means accepting I'm just a monster, just evil. And I can't accept that. I have to believe there was something good in me once, before everything went wrong." We talked for hours that night and many nights after. He told me about his life. Teacher before politics, 3 children, 7 grandchildren. Devoted his life to democracy, to justice, to making Turkey better, and he'd been arrested for it, labeled a threat, thrown in prison to die. The irony, he said, is that you and I are both here for the same reason. We challenged power, you through violence, me through words. Both of us thought we could change things, and both of us failed. You didn't fail. You fought for something good. I fought for myself. Intention doesn't matter when the result is the same. Prison, suffering, loss. We're both here because we didn't know when to stop, didn't know when to walk away. He was right. But hearing it from him, from a good man who'd made different choices, it hit different. Do you regret it? I asked. Your politics? Your activism? Would you change it? No, even knowing how it ends, I wouldn't change it, because I was fighting for something bigger than myself. But you, I think you would change everything if you could. Every single day. June 1984. The death. Ahmet Guven died on June 12th, 1984. His tuberculosis got worse. Prison doctors finally transferred him to a hospital, but it was too late. His lungs were destroyed. His body was failing. He died in a hospital bed alone. No family allowed, no friends, just a guard outside the door. They told me 3 days later, casual, like it didn't matter, like he was just another number. But it mattered to me. For 3 months I'd kept him alive, fed him, talked to him, gave him a reason to keep fighting, and he'd given me something too, hope. The possibility that maybe, just maybe, I could be more than my worst actions. His death hit me harder than it should have. I'd seen so much death, caused so much death. One old man dying shouldn't have mattered, but it did, because he was good, actually good, not pretending, not hiding sins behind charity, just genuinely trying to make the world better, and the world had killed him anyway. If someone like him could die in prison, forgotten and alone, what hope was there for someone like me? I spiraled after his death. Depression, deep, dark depression. I stopped eating, stopped exercising, stopped caring. The guards noticed, didn't care, but some of the other prisoners did. A man I barely knew, a thief named Orhan, started checking on me. Yilmaz, you look like hell. Go away. That old politician, the one who died, you cared about him. I said go away. My father died in prison 8 years ago. I wasn't there, couldn't say goodbye. It ate me alive for years, still does. But you know what I learned? We don't honor the dead by dying ourselves. We honor them by living, by being better, by remembering what they taught us. He taught me that good people suffer just as much as bad people, maybe more. What kind of lesson is that? That life isn't fair, never has been, never will be. But we keep going anyway, because giving up is letting the bastards win. Simple words from a simple thief, but they pulled me back from the edge. I started eating again, started exercising, started living, not because I wanted to, but because Ahmet Guven had fought until his last breath, and giving up would dishonor his memory. 1985 to 1987, the quiet years. The next few years passed quietly, routines, same thing every day, wake up, exercise, work in the library, eat, sleep, repeat. I was 46 years old in 1985, middle-aged, graying, slowing down. The fire that had driven me for decades was gone, replaced by nothing, just emptiness. I got news occasionally from outside. Turkey was changing under military rule, more controlled, more organized, less chaotic. The gang wars had calmed. Davut's empire was unchallenged. He'd won completely, and I'd helped him win. In 1986, a new prisoner arrived. Young guy, maybe 23, arrogant, stupid, tried to establish himself by challenging the old gang leaders. He came after me one day in the yard, wanted to make a name by beating Kemal the wolf. Your old wolf, soft, Prison broke you. You're nothing now. I didn't want to fight, didn't want violence, but in prison, not fighting is suicide. He swung first, I blocked, countered. Years of boxing training came back, muscle memory. I broke his nose, dislocated his jaw, put him on the ground in 15 seconds. The guards pulled me off, put me in solitary for 2 weeks. In that darkness, alone with my thoughts, I realized something. I could still fight, could still hurt people. The violence was still inside me, dormant but not dead. And that terrified me, because I'd spent years trying to convince myself I'd changed, that I was different, better. But I wasn't. The monster was still there, just sleeping. 1988, the possibility of parole. In August 1988, I became eligible for parole. 13 years served. The military government had collapsed in 1983, replaced by civilian rule again. New laws, new possibilities. My lawyer, a different one now, the old one had died, said I had a chance. You've been a model prisoner. No incidents except the one in 86, and that was self-defense. You work in the library, help other prisoners. The warden actually wrote a recommendation letter. Why would he do that? Because you've changed, Kemal, or at least you seem to have changed. And more importantly, you're not a threat anymore. Your crew is gone. Your empire is gone. You're just a middle-aged man who wants to go home. Home. The word felt strange. I had no home. My family was gone. My friends were dead or scattered. My old life was ashes. If I get parole, where would I even go? That's for you to figure out, but the question is, do you want it? Do you want to try to build a life outside? Did I? Part of me wanted to stay in prison. It was safe, predictable. I knew the rules, knew my place. Outside, I'd be nobody. No power, no respect, no purpose. Just an old ex-con trying to survive. But another part, a small, stubborn part, wanted to try, wanted to see if redemption was possible, if I could live even one day as something other than Kemal the Wolf. File for parole. You're sure? No, but do it anyway. The hearing was in October. Parole board, 3 judges, a prosecutor, my lawyer, me. They asked questions about my crimes, my time in prison, my plans if released. I answered honestly, maybe too honestly. I destroyed lives, killed people, hurt families. I deserve to be here, but I'm asking for a chance. Not to make up for what I did, that's impossible, but to maybe do something good with whatever time I have left, to not add to the suffering I've caused. The head judge, a woman named Ace Kara, studied me carefully. Mr. Yilmaz, do you think you've been rehabilitated? No. You can't rehabilitate someone like me. What I did, who I was, that's permanent. But I can choose to be different going forward. Choose to not cause more harm. That's all I can offer. She nodded, made notes. The board conferred privately. After 30 minutes, they returned. Kemal Yilmaz, the board has reached a decision. Given your time served, your conduct in prison, and the changing nature of organized crime in Istanbul, we are granting parole. Conditional. For 5 years. You will report weekly to a parole officer. You cannot leave Istanbul. You cannot associate with known criminals. You cannot possess weapons. Any violation results in immediate return to prison to serve your remaining sentence. Do you understand these terms? Yes. Then you are free to go. May God guide your path. Free. After 13 years, I was free. I should have felt joy, relief, something. Instead, I felt terror, because freedom meant choices, and choices meant responsibility, and I'd proven over and over that I made terrible choices. But it was too late to change my mind. November 1988, release. They gave me 500 lira, new clothes, cheap but clean, and an address from my parole officer. The prison gates opened. For the first time in 13 years, I walked out. Istanbul had changed. The buildings looked different. The cars were newer. Everything moved faster. I felt like a ghost, a relic from another time, out of place, out of sync. I had no plan, no home, no job, no friends. I walked for hours, through streets I used to control, past businesses I used to extort, through neighborhoods where people once feared me. Nobody recognized me. I was just another old man, invisible. I ended up in Taksim Square, sat on a bench, watched people, young couples holding hands, families with children, business people rushing to meetings. Normal life, the life I'd never had. A young man sat next to me, maybe 20 years old, well-dressed, educated look. "Excuse me, sir, do you have the time?" I checked the watch they'd given me when I was released. 3:30, "Thank you." He started to leave, then stopped, looked at me again. "Are you okay? You look lost." "I am lost, very lost. Is there someone I can call? Family? Friends? No one." He sat back down, genuinely concerned. "My name is Amit. What's yours?" "Amit, like the old politician, the one I'd tried to save. Kemal." "Nice to meet you, Kemal Bey. Where are you staying?" "I don't know yet. I just got out. Today, after 13 years. His eyes widened. Understanding dawned. "Prison? Yes." He didn't get up, didn't move away, just sat there. "That must be difficult. Adjusting. Everything's different now. Everything. Do you have money for a place to stay?" "A little, not much." He pulled out a card, business card. "My uncle runs a boarding house in Beyoğlu. Clean, cheap. Tell him I sent you. He'll give you a fair price." "Why are you helping me? You don't know me, and I could be dangerous." "Are you dangerous?" I thought about that. 13 years ago, absolutely. But now, I used to be. I'm trying not to be. "Then you deserve a chance. Everyone deserves a chance to change." He stood up, smiled. Genuine, open smile. The kind I hadn't seen in over a decade. "Good luck, Kemal Bey. I hope you find what you're looking for." He walked away, left me sitting there with his uncle's card. A stranger had shown me kindness, expected nothing in return, just human decency. When was the last time someone had done that for me? I couldn't remember. Maybe this was a sign. Maybe there was still some good in the world, and maybe, just maybe, I could be part of it instead of destroying it. I went to the boarding house. His uncle, a man named Mehmet, gave me a small room. Basic, clean, cheap. My first night of freedom, I lay in that narrow bed, staring at the ceiling. For 13 years I'd dreamed of freedom, imagined what I'd do, where I'd go. But now that I had it, I realized something. Freedom without purpose is just another kind of prison. I needed to find a reason to live, a reason to keep going, a reason to be better than I'd been. But I had no idea where to start. December 1988. The job. I needed work. The 500 lira wouldn't last, and sitting in my room all day, alone with my thoughts, was driving me insane. My parole officer, a stern woman named Zeynep Hanim, helped. Sort of. "Your options are limited, Mr. Yilmaz. Your criminal record makes most employers nervous, and your reputation, even after 13 years, some people remember. So what can I do? Manual labor, construction, cleaning, loading docks, work that doesn't require background checks or references." Pride would have made the old me refuse. Kemal the Wolf, doing manual labor? Impossible. But the old me was dead, or should be. I'll take whatever I can get. She made some calls, found me a job at a textile factory in Zeytinburnu. Night shift, loading and unloading trucks, minimum wage, hard work. I took it. The factory was owned by a man named Hikmet Bey. Old guy, maybe 65. He knew my history. Zeynep Hanim had told him, "I'm giving you a chance, Yilmaz. One chance. You show up on time, you work hard, you don't cause problems, and you keep your past in the past. Understand? Yes, sir. Good. Because if I hear even a whisper of trouble, you're gone, and I'll make sure no one else in this city hires you. Fair enough? The work was brutal. Lifting heavy boxes, loading trucks, unloading shipments. My body, once conditioned from boxing and prison exercise, struggled. I was 49 years old, not young anymore. My back ached, my hands blistered, my muscles screamed, but I kept going, because this was honest work. First honest work I'd done since I was 12 years old, shining shoes in Ankara. The other workers avoided me at first. They knew who I was. Whispers followed me. That's Kemal the Wolf, the gangster, killed dozens of people. Why is he working here? Why isn't he still in prison? Stay away from him. He's dangerous. I didn't blame them. I was dangerous, or had been. But slowly over weeks some of them warmed up. Not friendship, just basic human interaction. A young worker named Emre started eating lunch near me. Didn't talk much, just nodded, acknowledged my existence. Then one night as we were loading a truck, he spoke. My father worked in a factory, died in a bus accident. 1951, I wasn't born yet, but my mother told me stories. My blood froze. 1951, bus accident, factory worker. What was your father's name? Hasan Yilmaz. The world stopped spinning. This was my brother, Mehmet, my baby brother who was 8 when our father died, who I'd provided for, fought for, killed for. He was 45 now, a man with a family, a life. And he didn't recognize me. I'd changed so much. Age, prison, time. I wasn't the teenager he remembered. Emre, I said carefully. What's your grandfather's name? Your mother's father? I don't know. She never talked about her family much. Why? He didn't know. Elif had taken our children and disappeared. Changed their names. Started over. But my brother was here, right here, working in the same factory as me. Should I tell him? Should I reveal myself? What would it accomplish? He'd moved on, built a life. Why drag him back into my darkness? No reason, just curious. Your father, he must have been a good man. He was. My mother says he was honest, hard-working. He died trying to provide for his family. I try to honor that. Guilt crashed over me like a wave because I'd taken the opposite path. Dishonest, violent, everything our father wasn't. You should be proud. Honoring your father is important. Emre smiled, small, genuine smile. Thanks, Kemal Bey. He went back to work. Didn't know he was talking to his uncle. Didn't know the man beside him had spent decades destroying everything their father had valued. I wanted to tell him, wanted to hug him, wanted to explain everything, but I didn't, because some secrets are kindnesses. January 1989. The encounter. I was walking home from work one morning, early, dawn breaking over Istanbul, cold winter air. A car pulled up beside me, black Mercedes, expensive, out of place in this neighborhood. The window rolled down, and there he was, Davut Kaya, older now, maybe 75, but still sharp, still dangerous, still the man who'd owned my soul for so many years. Kemal, get in. It wasn't a request. I got in the back seat. Another man was driving, young, professional bodyguard. Davut looked at me, studied me, like examining an old tool to see if it was still useful. You look terrible. Prison will do that. I saved your life. The tribunal. Remember? I remember. What do you want? Gratitude would be nice. You want me to thank you for keeping me in your debt for 13 years? For making me betray my own men? For threatening my family? He smiled, cold, calculating. Fair point, but you're alive. Your family is alive. That's more than most people in your position can say. What do you want, Davut? I'm old, Kemal. 75 years old. I've built an empire, but empires need successors, need someone to take over when I'm gone. I'm out, completely out. I'm not going back to that life. I'm not asking you to. You're too old anyway, too broken, too reformed." He said the word with contempt. "But your son, Mehmet, he's 24 now, smart, educated, strong, like you were at that age." My heart stopped. "You stay away from my son, or what? You'll threaten me? You have no power, Kemal. No crew, no weapons, no money. You're nothing, just an old ex-con working at a factory. How did you find him? How did you find my family? I never lost them. I've been watching, waiting, making sure they stayed safe, as promised. But now I need something from them. No, whatever you're planning, no, leave them alone. I'm not planning anything bad, just an opportunity. Mehmet is studying business in London, University College London, very prestigious. He'll graduate next year and he needs a job. I can offer him one, legitimate business, import, export, legal mostly. He'll never know about his father's past, about my past. He'll just have a successful career, and then you'll own him like you owned me. Everyone serves someone, Kemal. At least I pay well. I'll kill you before I let you touch my son." Davut laughed. Actually laughed. "With what? Your bare hands? You're old, tired, and broken. And even if you could kill me, which you can't, my people would destroy your entire family, your wife, your other children, your brothers, everyone." He was right. I had no leverage, no power, nothing. "Please, I'm begging you, leave them alone. Take me instead. I'll work for you again. Do whatever you want. Just leave my family out of this." "Your family? Kemal, they're not your family anymore. They changed their names, started over. As far as they know, you're dead or might as well be. Your son doesn't even know you exist. He thinks his father was a businessman who died when he was young. That's the story your wife told him. The pain of that truth was worse than any bullet. Then why tell me any of this? Why torture me? Because I want you to know, want you to understand that your sacrifices were meaningless. Your prison time, your redemption, your pathetic attempt at an honest life, none of it matters. Your son will follow the same path you did. Maybe not violence, but crime, sin, corruption. It's in the blood. You're wrong. Mehmet is good, strong. He'll never become like us. We'll see. I'm not forcing him, just offering opportunity. And when someone offers opportunity to a young, ambitious man, he usually takes it, no matter how good he thinks he is." The car stopped. We were back where he'd picked me up. "Get out, Kemal. Go back to your factory, your little room, your meaningless life, and know that everything you tried to protect is slipping through your fingers." I got out. The car drove away, left me standing on the street corner, shaking, not from cold, from rage, from fear, from helplessness. I'd spent 13 years in prison to keep my family safe, and it meant nothing. Davut could reach them whenever he wanted, unless I stopped him. But how? I was nobody, nothing. Or was I? The plan? That night I couldn't sleep, couldn't think straight. Davut was right about one thing. I had no power, no resources, no crew. But he was wrong about something, too. I wasn't broken, not completely. The monster was still inside me, still sleeping, still capable of violence, and maybe it was time to wake it up, one last time. Not for power, not for money, not for revenge. For family, for the only pure thing in my corrupted life. I spent days planning, carefully, patiently, like the old days. Davut was powerful, protected, surrounded by loyal men. Killing him directly was impossible. But everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has soft spots. I needed information, needed to know his routines, his operations, his vulnerabilities. I still had one contact, one person who might help. Hakan, my old lieutenant, the smart one, the one who'd suggested negotiation instead of violence back in 1975. I didn't know if he was still alive, still in Istanbul, still willing to talk to me. But I had to try. I found him through old channels, street contacts, people who remember the old days. He was running a repair shop in Maltepe, electronics, legal business. He'd gone straight like me. I walked into his shop one afternoon. He was behind the counter, fixing a television, older, grayer, glasses now. He looked up, saw me. His face went through several emotions: shock, fear, anger, then resignation. "Kemal, Hakan, I heard you got out. Hoped you'd stay away from all of us. I tried, but something came up. No, whatever it is, no, I'm out. Completely out, and I have a wife, 2 daughters, a normal life. I'm not getting involved in your shit again. Davut Kaya is going after my son, trying to recruit him, make him part of the organization." Hakan's face changed. He knew what that meant. "Your son doesn't even know you exist. I know, and I want to keep it that way, but I need to stop Davut permanently. You want to kill him. Yes, you're insane. He's untouchable, connected to everyone. Politicians, police, military. You can't get near him. I got near him once in 1954, returned his wallet. He gave me 500 lira and destroyed my life. Maybe it's time to return the favor." Hakan put down his tools, studied me carefully. "You've changed. Prison changed you. You're not the same man." That's what I thought too, but I was wrong. The man I was, the monster, he's still here, just waiting, and Davut is threatening my family, so the monster is coming back one last time. And after, if you somehow succeed, what then? Then I disappear, or die, or go back to prison. I don't care, as long as my family is safe." Hakan was quiet for a long moment, then he sighed. "I can't help you kill him. I won't be part of murder again, but I can give you information, routines, weaknesses. What you do with it is your choice, and your sin. That's all I'm asking." He pulled out a notebook, started writing. "Davut has aged. He's not as mobile as he used to be. Has a routine. Every Friday night he goes to a Turkish bath in Nisantasi, the Marmara Hammam, high-end place. He reserves the entire bath. Just him and 2 bodyguards, relaxes, feels safe. Security, the bodyguards, plus the bath employees, but they're civilians, just doing their jobs. The real security is outside, 4 men in 2 cars, but inside, just the 2 bodyguards." "How do you know this?" "I still have contacts, still hear things, old habits." He handed me the paper, addresses, times, details. "Kemal, if you do this, you're throwing away everything. Your parole, your freedom, your chance at redemption. Is it worth it? My son's future is worth everything, including my soul. I lost that years ago anyway." "You're wrong. You still have a soul. That's why this hurts so much. But if you go through with this, you'll lose it forever. There's no coming back from this." "I know." I took the paper, turned to leave. "Kemal." "Yes." "Good luck, and I'm sorry for everything, for all of us. We could have been different, should have been different. Yeah, we should have." I left, went back to my room, studied the information. Friday night, 3 days away, 3 days to prepare, to plan, to make peace with what I was about to do, and to say goodbye to the man I'd tried to become. Friday, January 27th, 1989, the Marmara Hammam. I arrived at the Hammam at 9 p.m., late, dark, cold January night. I'd spent days preparing, got a gun easy to find if you know where to look, stolen, untraceable, checked the location, studied the layout, planned my escape route. The old skills came back, muscle memory, like I'd never stopped. The 2 security cars were parked outside, 4 men, alert, professional, but they were watching the street, not the back alley, not the service entrance. That was my way in. I picked the lock on the service door. Simple. They'd gotten lazy, too comfortable. Inside, the hammam was beautiful. Marble, steam, luxury. The kind of place regular people could never afford. I moved through the service corridors, quiet, careful. I could hear voices, laughter, Davut and his bodyguards relaxing in the main bath area. I checked my gun, loaded, safety off, ready. My heart was pounding, not from fear, from something else, anticipation, the old rush. The monster was awake. I pushed open the door to the main bath, steam everywhere, hot, dense, hard to see. 3 figures in the steam, 1 old man lying on a massage table, 2 younger men nearby but relaxed, towels, unarmed. I stepped forward, gun raised. "Hello, Davut." The old man turned, saw me, and smiled. That should have been my first warning. Kemal, right on time. The 2 bodyguards moved, but not toward me. They moved aside, revealing more men hidden in the steam, 6 of them with guns. It was a trap. You didn't think I wouldn't know, did you? Davut sat up, wrapping a towel around himself. Hakan called me the moment you left his shop, told me everything. He's still loyal to me, you see, always has been. Betrayed, again, by someone I'd trusted. So what now? You kill me here? No, too messy, too public. No, we're going somewhere else, somewhere quiet, somewhere you can disappear, forever. The 6 men surrounded me, took my gun, grabbed my arms. I didn't fight. What was the point? I'd failed to protect my son, failed to stop Davut, failed at everything. They dragged me out through the back, threw me in a van, drove for maybe 30 minutes. When we stopped, I recognized the area. Tuzla, industrial, abandoned warehouses. The same warehouse where I'd been arrested in 1975. Full circle. They pulled me out, threw me on the ground. Davut stood over me, looking down. You should have stayed in your lane, Kemal. Should have accepted your place, but you always had to fight, always had to resist. And look where it got you. Just do it. Kill me, but leave my family alone, please. Oh, I will leave them alone. Your wife, your other children, even your brothers. They're no threat to me, but Mehmet. He smiled. Mehmet is special, smart, ambitious, and he'll never know his father died in a warehouse begging for mercy. He nodded to one of his men. The man raised his gun. This was it, the end. After all the violence, all the death, all the suffering, I was going to die in the same place I'd been arrested, killed by the man who'd started it all. Maybe that was justice, karma, whatever. I closed my eyes, waited for the bullet, but it didn't come. Instead, I heard gunshots, different directions, screaming, chaos. I opened my eyes. Davut's men were being gunned down, one by one, professional, precise. Shadows moving through the warehouse, fast, trained. In 30 seconds, 5 of Davut's men were dead. The 6th was running. He didn't make it far. Davut stood there frozen, too old to run, too shocked to move. The shadows stepped into the light. 4 men, military gear, professional operators, and leading them a young man, maybe 25, tall, strong, intelligent eyes I recognized because they were my eyes from 40 years ago. Mehmet, my son, looked at me. No recognition, no emotion, just cold assessment. Then he turned to Davut. Davut Kaya, you're under arrest for multiple charges of organized crime, money laundering, drug trafficking, and murder. Davut laughed. Arrested? By who? You're not police, you're not military. Who are you? MIT, Turkish National Intelligence. We've been investigating your organization for 3 years, building a case, and you just made a critical mistake, attempting to murder a paroled prisoner in front of witnesses. He gestured to the shadows, cameras, recording devices, evidence. This was a setup. You set me up." Davut looked at me, then at Mehmet, then back at me, and I saw it. The moment he realized the resemblance. You're his son." Mehmet didn't answer, just motioned to his team. They arrested Davut, cuffed him, dragged him away. Then Mehmet turned to me. "Kemal Yilmaz, you violated your parole, illegally possessed a firearm, attempted murder. I should arrest you too." "Then do it. But you also helped us close the case by drawing Davut out, by making him overconfident, so I'm going to give you a choice. Walk away, right now, disappear, never contact me or my family again, and I'll forget I saw you here. You know who I am. I've known for 3 weeks, since Davut approached me in London, offered me a job. I did research, found old records, photos, connected the pieces, and I realized my mother had lied to me my entire life. My father wasn't a businessman who died. He was a gangster who went to prison." The pain in his voice was like a knife. "Mehmet, don't try to explain, don't try to justify. You made your choices. You destroyed lives. You hurt people, and you hurt us. Your family? We spent years hiding, afraid, looking over our shoulders. Because of you. I know, and I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. It'll never be enough. But you tried to protect me tonight, tried to save me from Davut, even though it cost you everything. So maybe there's something human still in there." He stepped closer, looked me in the eyes. "I meant what I said when I was 10. I will be nothing like you. I'm going to save lives, fight crime, make Turkey better. I'll be everything you weren't. Good, that's all I ever wanted. But know this, if I ever see you again, if you ever try to contact me, my mother, my siblings, I'll arrest you myself, and I'll make sure you never get out. Understand? Yes. Then go. Get out of here, and live whatever life you have left, alone." He turned away, walked back to his team. They had Davut in a van, evidence bags, documentation, a massive bust, career-making case, and my son had done it. I stood there in that warehouse, bleeding, broken, abandoned, and for the first time in my entire life, I felt something I'd never felt before. Pride. My son was a good man. Despite me, despite everything, he'd chosen right where I'd chosen wrong. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was my redemption, not my own transformation, but his. I walked out of that warehouse into the cold Istanbul night, alone, and I disappeared. To be continued. The final chapters, Kemal's last years, the ultimate price of his sins, an unexpected reunion, and the truth about whether monsters can truly change or if they're doomed to die as they lived. Continue for the ending. Retry my continue February 1989. The disappearance. I didn't go back to the boarding house, didn't go back to the factory, didn't report to my parole officer. I was a ghost. Again, the newspapers exploded with the story. Major organized crime boss arrested, decades-long empire dismantled, Davut Kaya's photograph on every front page, details of his operations, his crimes, his network, and buried in one article, a single line. The operation was led by MIT officer Mehmet Özdemir, 24, who infiltrated the organization over several months. Özdemir, that was the name Elif had chosen. New identity, new life. My son was a hero, and nobody knew his father was the wolf. I spent weeks moving through Istanbul's shadows, sleeping in abandoned buildings, eating from garbage bins, avoiding cameras, avoiding people. I'd done this before, as a 12-year-old boy after my father died, full circle again, but this time I wasn't fighting to survive. I was just existing, waiting for the end. March 1989. The sickness. I started coughing. At first just a little, then worse. Deep wet coughs that left me gasping, blood in my sputum, pain in my chest, fever that wouldn't break, tuberculosis, maybe cancer, maybe both, prison diseases that I'd carried for years, finally catching up. I didn't see a doctor. What was the point? I had no money, no identity papers, and I deserved to suffer. The coughing got worse. I could barely walk, barely breathe. One night I collapsed in an alley in Tarlabaşı, cold, wet, dying. A homeless man found me. Old guy, maybe 70, called himself Yusuf. He dragged me to a shelter, church-run place. They took in the desperate, the forgotten, the dying. A volunteer nurse, a young woman named Zehra, examined me. You need a hospital. Immediately. Your lungs are failing. No hospitals. You'll die. I know. She looked at me, saw something in my eyes. What's your name? Kemal. Just Kemal? Just Kemal. She brought me water. Antibiotics donated, probably expired, but better than nothing. Pain medication. I can't save you, but I can make you more comfortable. Why? You don't know me. I know you're human. That's enough. April 1989, Yusuf's story. The old homeless man Yusuf stayed near me, brought me food, talked to me. Why do you care? I asked him one day. Because someone cared for me once, long time ago, 1972, I was 15, got grabbed by some gang. They were going to kill me because I saw something I shouldn't have. My heart stopped. And a man saved me. Gang leader himself, killed 8 men to get me out, told me to go home, live my life, be good, never get involved in that world. It was him, the boy from Tarlabaşı, the one I'd saved, the one I'd killed 8 men to protect. What happened to you? I really tried, finished school, got a job, but I saw things that night, terrible things couldn't forget, started drinking, lost my job, lost my family, ended up here, in the streets, where I belong. So I saved you for nothing. You ended up broken anyway. No, you saved my life. What I did with it after, that's on me, not you. You gave me a chance. I wasted it, but the chance mattered. He didn't know, didn't recognize me, too sick, too old, too different from the powerful man I'd been. What was his name? The man who saved you? I don't know, and I called him the Wolf in my head. But I never learned his real name, just that he was dangerous, powerful, and somehow, despite everything, he cared enough to save a stupid kid. Do you hate him? For the violence? For the 8 men he killed? I used to. For years I was angry. Those 8 men had families too, lives, and they died because of me. But then I realized he didn't have to save me. Could have let me die. Would have been easier, safer, but he didn't. And that means something. Means he wasn't completely evil, just broken, like all of us. I started crying, couldn't help it. After all these years, all this suffering, this one boy I'd saved, he didn't hate me. Are you okay, Kemal Bey? No, I'm not okay. I've never been okay. None of us are, but we're alive. And as long as we're alive, we can still do one good thing, one kind act, one moment of redemption. Simple wisdom from a homeless drunk, but it hit harder than any sermon. May 1989. The letter, I was dying. I could feel it. Every breath was harder. Every day was weaker. Zehra, the nurse, knew it too. Days, maybe a week. I'm sorry. Don't be. I've lived too long already. But before I died, I needed to do something. One last thing. I asked Zehra for paper and a pen. She brought them. I wrote a letter to Mehmet, my son, the hero. Dear Mehmet, by the time you read this, I'll be dead. Finally, and the world will be better for it. I'm writing this because you deserve to know the truth, not the version your mother told you, not the legend people whisper about, the real truth. I was a monster. I killed 27 people with my own hands, ordered the deaths of dozens more, destroyed families, caused suffering that ripples through generations. I tell myself I had reasons. My father died. I was hungry. I was protecting my family, but these are excuses. Other people had hard lives and didn't become what I became. The truth is, I liked it. The power, the fear, the respect. I became addicted to violence, and by the time I realized what I'd become, it was too late. The monster had consumed the man. Your mother tried to save me. You children gave me purpose, but I couldn't change, couldn't stop, not until I lost everything. Prison gave me time to think. 13 years of thinking, and I realized something. I can't undo what I did, can't bring back the dead, can't heal the wounds, but I could make sure you were different, make sure the cycle ended with me. When I saw you in that warehouse leading that operation, I understood. You are everything I could have been, should have been. You chose right where I chose wrong, and that's my redemption, not my own transformation, but yours. You said you'd be nothing like me. Keep that promise. Be good. Be just. Fight for what's right. Save lives instead of taking them. The blood money I earned over the years, your mother has it. Use it for education, for good. Transform poison into medicine. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm just asking you to remember, everyone has a choice. I made bad choices. You made good ones. That difference is everything. I loved you. I loved all of you. Even when I was destroying everything around me, I loved you. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe love without wisdom is just another form of violence. But it's all I have to give. Live well, my son. Be happy. Be good. Be free. Don't remember me, but remember what I taught you. There's always a choice. Always a chance to be better. Choose better. Your father, Kemal Yilmaz, the wolf. I sealed the letter, gave it to Zehra. When I die, send this to MIT headquarters. Attention, Mehmet Özdemir. Don't put a return address. Just send it. Are you sure? It's the only good thing I can still do. May 15th, 1989. The final night. That night I couldn't sleep. The pain was too much. Every breath was fire. Yusuf sat beside my cot, holding my hand. This homeless drunk who I'd saved 17 years ago. It's almost over, he said. Soon you'll have peace. I don't deserve peace. None of us deserve anything. We just receive what comes. Grace, mercy, suffering, death, all unearned. Do you believe in God, Yusuf? Yes, even after everything, even living in the streets, I believe. Do you think God can forgive someone like me? He was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I'm not God. But I know this. If God can forgive me for wasting the life you saved, maybe He can forgive you for the lives you took. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe. Tell me about the 8 men, the ones who died to save you. What do you remember? I remember their faces, sometimes in dreams. They were bad men, criminals, killers, but they were also human. They had families, mothers who cried, children who asked where Daddy went. I carry them with me, always. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to carry that. Don't be. You gave me life. They gave their lives, unwillingly, but still. That means something. Suffering has to mean something. Otherwise, it's all just chaos, just meaningless pain. Around midnight, I felt it. The final approach. Death coming. My breathing became shallow, irregular, my vision blurred. Faces appeared, all the people I'd killed. Hussein, Layla, Iskender, Rami, the 18 at Pendik, all of them. But they weren't accusing, weren't angry, just watching, waiting, like they'd been waiting for me to join them all these years. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. And then I saw him, my father, Hassan Yilmaz, the honest factory worker who died in 1951. He looked disappointed, but also understanding, like he knew, like he'd been watching, like he'd seen every choice I made. I failed you, Baba. I became everything you weren't." He didn't speak, just put a hand on my shoulder, heavy, solid, real. And for a moment I felt peace, just a moment, a glimpse of what might have been. Then it faded. Yusuf was crying. "He's going, it's time." Zehra came, checked my pulse, my breathing, shook her head. "Minutes, I'm sorry." "Don't be," Yusuf said. "He's finally free." The last thing I heard was prayer. Yusuf reciting verses from the Quran, words I barely remembered from childhood. "Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to Allah we shall return." The last thing I felt was regret, deep crushing regret for all the choices, all the death, all the suffering. The last thing I thought was, I hope it was enough. I hope Mehmet lives well. I hope the cycle is broken. And then, nothing. May 16th, 1989, the death of the wolf. Kemal Yilmaz died at 1:47 a.m., age 50, in a homeless shelter, surrounded by strangers. No family, no friends, no ceremony. The shelter recorded his death as Kemal, unknown surname, tuberculosis and lung cancer, no next of kin. They buried him in a pauper's grave in Kilyos. No headstone, no marker, just a number, plot 247. A nameless death for a man who once made people tremble at his name. The wolf was dead. The letter's journey. 3 days later, Zehra mailed the letter as promised. To MIT headquarters. Attention, Mehmet Özdemir. It arrived on May 22nd. Security screened it. Nothing dangerous, just a letter. They delivered it to Mehmet's desk. He was working, paperwork from the Davut Kaya case, building additional charges, following money trails. He opened the envelope, saw the handwriting, old, shaky, barely legible. He read, "Colleagues said he went pale, left his office immediately, drove somewhere, nobody knew where. He took 3 days off, unprecedented for him, always dedicated, always working. When he came back, he was different, quieter, more thoughtful. Something had changed." Kilyos Cemetery, May 25th, 1989. Mehmet stood at plot 247. Anonymous grave, no name, nothing. He knew it was his father. The shelter's records matched, the dates matched, everything matched. He stood there for an hour, not crying, not praying, just standing. Finally he spoke. "You were right, I am nothing like you. I've spent my life fighting people like you, putting them away, making the world safer." The wind blew, cold, empty. "But I understand now what you were trying to say. You didn't want forgiveness. You wanted me to be free, free from your sins, from your legacy, from the cycle." He pulled something from his pocket, a photo, old, faded, from 1965. Kemal holding baby Mehmet, smiling, looking at his son like he was the most precious thing in the world. His mother had kept it, hidden, despite everything, despite the pain. She'd kept one photo. "I won't tell anyone who you were, won't claim you, won't visit this grave again. You asked me to forget you, to move forward, and I will." He placed the photo on the grave. "But I'll keep your lesson. I'll remember that choices matter, that we can be better than our circumstances, that the cycle can be broken." He turned to leave, then stopped. "I forgive you. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if you deserved it, but I forgive you, not for you, for me, because carrying hate would make me like you, and I promised I'd be different." He walked away, got in his car, drove back to Ankara, back to his work, back to his life. He never visited that grave again. The photo stayed there for a few days. Then the wind took it, carried it away, lost to time, like the man in the grave, lost, forgotten, erased, exactly as he wanted. Epilogue 2024. Mehmet Özdemir became one of Turkey's most respected law enforcement officials. Director of Organized Crime Division, responsible for dismantling dozens of criminal networks, saved countless lives. He married, had 3 children, raised them with love and discipline and honesty. He never told them about their grandfather, about Kemal the Wolf, about the blood in their family tree. As far as they knew, their grandfather was a businessman who died young. A simple story, a harmless lie. Mehmet retired at 59, wrote a memoir about fighting organized crime, bestseller, praised for its insight into criminal psychology. In one chapter he wrote, "I once knew a criminal who told me that everyone has a choice. We can break cycles or perpetuate them. We can be better than our circumstances or become victims of them." That criminal died alone, unmourned, forgotten, but his lesson lived. And that's perhaps the only redemption available to people who've done terrible things, to teach others to be better. Nobody knew he was writing about his father. Elif, Kemal's wife, lived until 2015, died at 73, surrounded by her children and grandchildren. She never remarried, never spoke about Kemal. She carried her secrets to the grave. Cem, the second son, became an artist, successful. His paintings hang in galleries across Europe. He never knew his father, never asked, content with not knowing. Aylin, the daughter, became a teacher, elementary school. She dedicated her life to helping at-risk children, children from broken homes, children who reminded her of the scared little girl hiding in a closet in 1975. She never knew why she felt compelled to help them, never knew she was healing her own trauma. Ali, Kemal's younger brother, lived until 2010. He ran a small shop in Ankara. Good man, honest, like their father. He sometimes wondered what happened to his oldest brother Kemal, the one who disappeared into Istanbul and never came back. He never knew the truth. And Kemal? Plot 247 in Kilyo Cemetery still exists. Overgrown now. Forgotten. The cemetery records listed as unknown male, deceased May 1989. Nobody visits, nobody remembers, nobody cares. The wolf died as he lived, alone, surrounded by the consequences of his choices. But his son broke the cycle. His grandchildren lived honest lives. His great-grandchildren will never know the name Kemal the Wolf. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's the only happy ending available to men who've done terrible things. Not forgiveness, not redemption, not peace, just erasure. Being forgotten completely, while the good they tried to do at the very end survives. A nameless grave, an unnamed lesson, a cycle finally broken. The end. Today I've told you the story of my entire life. Every sin, every death, every choice. I'm Kemal Yilmaz, the Altindag wolf, a murderer, a gangster, a monster, but also a father who loved his children, a son who tried to honor his father, a man who spent his last days trying to be better than he was. I've failed at almost everything, but I succeeded at one thing. My children are good. My grandchildren are good. The poison in my blood ended with me. If you're reading this, if you're young, if you think the gang life offers something worth having, let me tell you, it offers nothing but death. Not just physical death, but death of the soul. Death of everything good in you. Money, it buys nothing that matters. Power, it isolates you. Respect, it's just fear wearing a mask. The only thing that matters is family, love, being someone your children can be proud of. I lost all of that. Don't make my mistakes. Choose better. Choose life. This is the story of Kemal Yilmaz, and with these words, I finally rest.